Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is underway, and Frankie Cardicelli and Brennan Nunez have been out at Golden One Center covering the camp. You can read their news and notes from training camp and interviews with the Kings at SactownSports.com. Joel Embiid said today he's informed USA Basketball he'll be playing for Team USA during the 2024 Olympics in Paris. And in football, Chicago plays Washington tonight on Thursday Night Football. If you wish to partake, we have coverage of the game beginning at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. Reminder, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Let's get rolling right here on Sactown Sports.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento, welcome to the program. It is officially Thursday. I feel like that's kind of, well, let me do the introductions. This is Sactown Sports 1140. He is Chris Watkins.
Hello.
I am Zachariah. You can join the program at any time. I should have this number memorized, but I do not. I know it's 916. I know it's 339, and I want to say it's 1140.
You nailed it.
Boom.
100%.
But as I'm learning, because Carmichael Dave was off this morning, Jason Ross operates differently.
Yes,
he doesn't have the YouTube.
He doesn't have
thing.
the YouTube.
Yeah, and the YouTube thing has the number there. So
yeah,
it's kind of like my crutch, if you will. But again, I am Zachariah.
You nailed it.
He is Chris Watkins. We will take you from now until 2 p.m., where the Drive guys will take over.
Yeah,
Draper
how about
and
that?
Whitey. Yeah, are you like? I saw that you sent a very nice tweet out.
Yes.
Shout out to Whitey.
Yes.
I worked
Massive
with him.
Shout out, Whitey.
I worked with him, and he was very kind to me on Tuesday. Great guy, great veteran, but a little bit of a separation for you now. You're back to Chris and Co. now in the middays.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he showed you a lot of things. He was, if he treated you half as good as he treated me, he treated you fantastic.
I mean, Whitey is he's a consummate professional. I mean, the guy knows, he's been doing radio since I've been listening to radio, and I'm sure he would take that as a shot. And no, I mean, it's just a fact. Like the guy could do a radio show in his sleep.
Yeah, I know.
He could. He's I mean, in our whatever it was 4 or 5 months that we were together. I mean, he taught me a lot about how this whole thing goes, how to put a show together. Yep. And I mean, I'll forever be grateful for what me and Whitey had. But I'm obviously very, very excited for the new opportunity, and I think him and Drapes are going to be awesome together.
Yeah, for sure. And who knows, you guys could cross
I'm
paths
sure.
again. I mean, nobody knows. You know what I mean? It. Yeah. So look, you guys cut into our show. Not that I was offended.
I know, yeah, we did. Let me tell you.
Not that I was happy to get to
crazy.
My car. No.
Yeah.
No, it was funny because Whitey kept apologizing for him. Like, dude, you got the GM and the coach. Like, we're good.
That's pretty much how it went too. It was, sorry to cut you. It was literally like you guys were on air. Yeah. We weren't supposed to go on until 2:00. See, but the thing is, media day started at the festive. Everybody starts moving at around 1.
Yeah.
And they have stations that they're supposed to go to. So it's like, hey, go take your picture with the AP, go do a fun Kings video. And then after that, come do a little 10-minute spot with Sactown.
And they're not going to sit around and wait for, honestly, me and Emil were going to do worst quarterback performances from week 4.
Yeah.
I think we were all good with cutting to you guys.
I don't know, man. I'm
GM.
Still waiting for that segment.
I don't know. Joe Burrow was pretty bad this week,
Oh, I'm concerned about Burrow. No, we were happy to do it. And I was able to, on my drive home, listen to the entirety of all of the interviews. And what I want to start with today is, what did you learn from it? Like, from you being there, you being in the building. I would have loved to have been there and met some people. Shout out to Harrison Barnes. That's my guy from my Warrior days. But like, just what was your overall takeaway? Because I know from Whitey, his biggest thing was optimism.
Yeah.
He kind of just summed it up sort of generally and was kind of apologetic about it, but essentially said that what he got from everybody was a sense of optimism. Is that kind of what you got as well?
Yes, but I would expand on that and say it's like a cool confidence. And I think you used that term to describe De'Aaron Fox at some point, and it would fit because, I mean, a lot of times teams take over the attitude of their leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of I mean, definitely positivity for sure, but the guys just it's not. Last year was a lot about excitement, hype, making people feel like they also need to believe the same way that the team believed.
Almost
this year was
like
more,
speaking it to an existence,
extent,
whereas
for sure.
this was more it's happened and now we got to build on it.
Yeah, it was just very matter of fact. It was everybody when you ask, hey, what's the goal for this season? What do you guys hope to accomplish? Wasn't, they're not excited. Yeah, they're like, we're just going to take care of business. We know what kind of team we are. We know the players that we have, and we know what we're capable of doing. People still don't believe in us. We're just going to have to go out there and prove it. And really, it's not like they're trying to cut a promo or anything like that. They very much understand what they need to do. And, actions obviously speak louder than words. And I think for the most part, they just feel very confident in the group that they have. And I think that they're very much okay with the fact that there's people talking about pretty much every other team in the league except for them. Yeah,
he is Chris Watkins. I am Zachariah. This is Sactown Sports. Am I allowed to have a favorite
on the team?
Am I allowed to have a favorite?
Absolutely.
You are?
Absolutely.
That's totally okay?
I think so.
Okay, so Dion earlier in the year ranked his kids, right? Or maybe he puts that out like once a month. I don't know how frequently that happens, but
it's a power ranking. It changes every month.
But like as a parent, you're not supposed to have a favorite kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I mean,
that's what they say at least.
Well, because I rank my friends.
Yeah,
I know who my best friend is. I know who my second best friend is. And I have other friends that go and file under that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I think that's a very natural thing that people just lie about.
Okay, so my natural thing that I'm not lying about is I am all about Duarte. All about and I was talking to Whitey and he's like, yeah, like part of it is because I had no idea that Sasha even spoke Spanish, but like him trying to get accumulated to like or acclimated to a different area or whatever. But like through the airwaves as I was driving home, listening to you interview him, it was so positive.
Yeah.
It was like, great guy, great organization, great guy.
Yeah.
And it sounded like he was smiling, even though I wasn't watching it. It sounded like he was smiling while he was talking.
If you watch the interview, he's smiling the entire time. And that's like, he kind of almost talks through his smile too. And like, he's just like, he's a really happy guy. He's really excited to be here. I truly do think, and I kind of joked about it with him to open up the interview. Like, people have been asking him about him and Domas's relationship literally since he got traded. It's pretty much the only question. Well, they went to
dinner together, right? When he came out.
They worked out for like 3 weeks in LA together with Doug Christie and Coach Barbosa. And so, I asked him about that. And even, how those guys can be with media. Sometimes you ask the same question over and over and they're like,
heard it a million
I don't know
times.
how many times I have to say this or whatever.
Great.
Like, he's
Off
great. He's awesome.
More important than on the court.
Exactly. And Duarte, again, to your point, like, he said it with a smile. He laughed about it. He was like, like, as great. I've said, like, a couple different times, like, Domas, I can't say enough about him.
Yeah.
He's a great person, fantastic person. And yeah, I mean, I think just from a personality standpoint, Chris Duarte and Malik Monk, I mean, for almost completely different reasons. Malik, when you sit in front of him, you can just feel his energy just bouncing off of the walls.
He's
everything.
A different dude.
Yeah, him and Chris Duarte were the two that just from a vibe standpoint, just sitting outside, directly across from them, you could feel their energy, and Chris's energy was just it was awesome.
Yeah,
was
for
really,
sure.
really good.
And I hate to brag about my own research or whatever, but like I did research on Duarte as a part of that trade. He didn't look like that in a lot of his Pacers interviews.
Really?
So it leads me to believe that is
body
genuine.
Language doctor over here.
No, I'm just saying, like, I didn't feel the smile through his answers when I saw other stuff. Now, part of that was, they drafted a guy that basically kind of took his spot, and then he dealt with injuries, so he was probably disgruntled. And then who would rather be in Sacramento than Indiana? You know what I mean? No offense to Indiana, if there's any Indianians out there listening. But you get my point. I feel like he really is. I feel like he feels like he's coming into a new and I think he knows what he can do. And not only did I love him because it felt like he was smiling through his answers, he talked about defense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if because you were probably in the moment.
I was.
So maybe you were not like,
in. Wasn't like,
75% of his responses when it was not like, praising Domas for how good of a guy he is, both on and off the court, was about defense.
Yeah.
He was talking about, and that's all I want to hear from anybody.
Right.
Other than off night.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and he's the one, and Whitey's been talking about it for a while now, of when you look at who the Kings brought in this offseason. There's not a lot of guys who bring like any sort of defensive acumen. And he's really somebody, you look at his numbers, they don't really show too good of defensive potential, but
his rookie year
he did. And also just if you watch him play, his defense isn't bad. I think it's more of the fact that the team around him wasn't very good at defense. And so he's not Davion Mitchell out there locking people up, but he's what you would call cliche, a good team defender
or a plus defender.
Plus defender, especially on a team that is pretty much a complete negative on defense. I think his defense will definitely shine, and I feel like he'll get the minutes that we saw Kessler Edwards get last year, because Kessler was pretty much only out there to play defense, and Chris Duarte will at least give you some offense on top of that as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Everybody sounded excited, and also the most important thing, you got the sense that they didn't feel like yes, they accomplished getting to the playoffs. They broke the streak, but they know that they need to do more.
Yep.
And that's what I was looking for. And I love Duarte just for talking about defense as much as he did, because he brought it up again, I don't know if you knew it because you were doing the interview, but it was like 75% of what he said.
I love it.
All right, coming up next, another test for another team near and dear to Sacramento's heart, the Niners playing the Cowboys Sunday Night Football. We're going to get into Jerry Jones and the stuff that got to go through us, hopefully twice, depending on how it goes or whatever. But Niners, Cowboys, is this going to be a litmus test? I say no. I'm going to ask Chris if he agrees or disagrees. We'll do that next. Zachariah, Chris Watkins, right here, Sactown Sports 1140.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Hustle up. We've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you, and the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial #250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
Welcome back, Sacramento. This is Sactown Sports 1140 alongside Chris Watkins. I am Zachariah. I got a surprise for you today, Chris.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, for your sister if she's listening. Is she an avid listener or no?
You better watch out now.
Did I phrase that poorly? I'm sorry. No, because of something that you told me.
Yes.
And there's somebody that has been brought to my attention that did this thing that we talked about. So I think I pretty much told you what it is, but we'll do that. Fun in the 40s at 10:45. And then coming up at 10:30, who won Media Day?
Interesting.
I think it's the guy who's on the top of the mountain that wants to do his job the least. I don't even know that he enjoys basketball. I think he won Media Day. And then, of course, we have
great tease.
Nuggets, Lakers beef. We'll do all that stuff bottom of the hour. But right now, Cowboys, Niners, Watkins, I say that to you.
We can finally preview it.
I say that to you.
Thursday. We're on the other side of the week.
Okay, you are the self-proclaimed wet blanket of the station.
Yes, sir.
I am going to take your role.
Ooh.
I'm going to be Mr. Wet Blanket.
Okay.
I will take nothing from this game in terms of the Niners. And I will take everything. I guess I can make it exciting by saying that I will take everything from how the Cowboys play.
Yeah.
But I will nothing, even if it's 42-0, Cowboys over the Niners. I will not look at the Niners any differently. But
That's interesting. Yeah.
if the Cowboys lose 42-0, I will just be like, well, yeah, that's exactly what I thought about them. So basically, I'm only going to change my opinion about one team. Those are my I know that's a hot take. I know it's a lot to throw at you.
That's interesting.
It's only 10:15 a.m.
I actually hear what you're saying because I don't know. I mean, if it's 42-0, maybe I'll have to slightly.
I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, for sure. But like, I don't know if the 49ers lose by whatever, we'll just say more than a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that necessarily means, okay, maybe the Cowboys are better. Maybe the 49ers aren't the class of the NFC. Like, it obviously hyper depending on how exactly it looks. Like, I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying. And I think that's probably the most rational way of approaching this weekend. But I think that just how the media cycles and how humans work is, I think we're all going to, no matter what, we're going to overreact to what we see.
Well, I just think from the Cowboys standpoint, they're putting way more weight into this game
for sure.
than the Niners are.
For sure.
I think the Niners are going, okay, we knocked you out of the playoffs.
Right.
Last 2 times we played. Forget the historic stuff from back in the day and the catch and Dwight Clark and all that stuff. In terms of what the actual player-for-player matchups are, I go into this going, the Niners feel like they have their number, and they feel like they should probably win. I'm not saying they're not going to get up for it.
Right.
Now, they do, because I think it was maybe you or somebody else was telling me how much they get up for the Rams, which surprised me.
I think that was Emil.
Yeah, they call it like their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, why do they care about the Rams?
Yeah.
Well, I guess because of the NFC Championship game.
Right.
But other than that, they've like pretty much owned them. But I go into this game going, okay, if the Cowboys show me something, and let's say they even just win slightly, win by a field goal, okay, Niners got some comp. But if the Cowboys, win the game comfortably, I'm not going to go, Niners have no chance. I'm still going to think the Niners are the better team, regardless of the outcome, which sounds crazy. Yeah,
no, I think that's where I really hear you. Is I feel like even if the Niners lose, there still isn't a reason to just completely throw out everything that we've seen. Like, the Niners haven't been really rattled at all so far through the NFL season, and the Cowboys obviously have lost to the Cardinals. And, besides that, they've really looked really good. But to me, I mean, the Niners have their number. I don't think if these teams meet again in the postseason, if the Niners do lose to the Cowboys, like, I don't think we'll be referencing a Week 5 matchup to try and dictate how this playoff game is going to go. That's that. If you're a 49, if you're on the Niners, like, that should comfort you. That should make you feel like taking a little bit of pressure off of this game, because you pointed out perfectly, like, they really don't have much to lose in this game. Like, I don't really think, if anything, you could argue that they lose and it's a big weight off of their back. I think there's a lot of pressure on them to almost be perfect right now and try and show their dominance throughout the year. And a lot of the times, I mean, you look at the Patriots team, teams that go a long time being undefeated, it's almost like a burden to them. Yeah. And I think it might do them some good to kind of get that loss out of the way. And, I'm sure Niner fans would appreciate, well, maybe not actually. I would actually be curious, would they rather lose to the Cowboys? Or, I mean, traditionally in the past, we've seen the Niners blow games that they just have absolutely no business losing. And, I feel like if you are going to lose a game, you might as well lose to a team that shows some promise instead of, losing to whatever, the Cardinals in week 14 or whatever,
Watkins Zachariah, Sactown Sports 1140. Just to not sound like a complete Looney Tune, Chris, I have reasons behind this. Yeah. Okay. Number one, Purdy has not lost any games ever. CMC has basically not lost any games ever. I think he's won as he's become a Niner. And Kyle Shanahan has shown a ton of success. And I just feel like with Dallas, yes, they came out like gangbusters in terms of the first couple of weeks. And then, they had but there's a letdown feeling from that team that I don't have from the Niners. Like, yes, the Niners fell to the Ravens a couple of times, and they fell to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl with the overthrow from Jimmy G. And they lost in the NFC Championship game. And then last year, obviously, Purdy was hurt. But, like, in general, I don't have that. It sounds horrible, so don't hold this against me. But I don't have the loser mentality from the Niners like I do with Dallas.
No, for sure.
And I know from the 4-letter network, Stephen A. Smith, they make fun of the Dallas Cowboys all the time or whatever. But it always feels like there's just something missing, whether it's the Jimmy Johnson curse or whatever. But like when it comes to the Niners, I just don't have that. So that's why going into this game, I put way more stock into what Dallas is going to do than what the Niners are going to do.
No, I totally hear you. Like, I mean, I think the loser mentality thing is the perfect way of putting it, because if the Niners lose, they have the confidence that, okay, that's fine. We lost that day, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to lose the season. It doesn't mean we're going to lose that battle again. But if the Cowboys lose, it feels like this big statement, like, okay, see, you lost to the Cardinals, so you've already shown a propensity to kind of not have that mental focus, and now you've lost to a team that is, and towards the tops of the league. That shows us that, whether it's true or not, that shows us that you aren't those guys. You are not capable. You're not. Yes, you're a fun story. Yes, you're one of the best teams in the NFL. But when it comes to the tippy top, the Eagles and the Niners, you're not there. And I just don't think that narrative exists really at all for the Niners. If they lose to the Cowboys, I think it's going to be a blip on the radar. It'll be something, but it's not going to be this big, huge statement that I think people are going to look back on and say, I'm not sure if the Niners can make the Super Bowl, because look at week 5 when they lost to the Cowboys, when they actually played a quote unquote good team, they lost. I just don't see that narrative being a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hate to agree with you, but exactly. If the Niners lose, it'll be a micro thing.
Yeah.
It'll be Purdy had an off day,
right,
or CMC couldn't find the holes, right, or the defense struggled, or whatever. It'll be a micro thing. Yeah,
it'll be
if
about
Dallas
a specific
lose,
thing.
It's a macro thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bigger picture thing.
Totally.
These guys own you, and you are just not a championship team. And that's why I'm going to walk away from that game. I'm going to learn way more about Dallas than I am about the 49ers. And I think that they're even doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you saw Dak, but he told the you're not allowed to say peed off, right? So I'll just say peed off.
Yeah.
But he told the reporters, oh, you're just trying to pee me off.
Yeah.
And he's like, I appreciate that. Really, I do. Like, I'm going to take, like, already in his head, and we're talking about just the game after a big blowout win.
Right.
And he's already saying that you're peeing me off, like bringing up the Niners and bringing up the past stuff. And because I'm sure it isn't, because look, even before this era, like, forget about Purdy and Dak, forget about Shanahan and, McCarthy or, Garrett before him. There was a huge Cowboys-Niners rivalry when Jerry Rice and, Deion Sanders switched teams and it swung the pendulum for the Super Bowls. So there was already a Niners-Cowboys thing.
Right.
And now I think it's built up. I think it's built up with the fans, and I think it's probably built up within the organization.
Absolutely.
Niners have more championships than the Cowboys.
Absolutely.
But, again, the Niners are the ones that have sent them packing the past couple of times that they've played.
Yeah.
So, again, Dak doing that to me was like, that shows that
They're
you're
in their
already
head.
tdon't about it more than the Niners are.
For sure.
You didn't see Purdy going, you're pissing me off bringing up the Cowboys.
Right. Well, it is very much like there's a clear line of I don't want to use the term dominance, but like being like the fact that the Cowboy or the Niners are very clearly in the Cowboys' head. It does kind of remind me, sorry, Niners fans, but it does remind me a lot of throughout this summer, the way that the Niners or players on the Niners, more specifically Deebo Samuel, was treating the Eagles.
Yeah,
it seems like
you keep bringing this up, and I don't agree, but I hear you.
There's a direct line where
it's only
like
1 year, though.
No, for sure.
That's why I'm pushing back on you.
I definitely hear you on that, but I think it's the same in the sense
fact
of
that they're saying
these guys feel like this is a really, really big matchup to where the other guy, it might be a one-sided, not rivalry, because, this is very much a very real rivalry, but it's a one-sided debate, I guess, where it's, the Cowboys feel like the Niners are the team that they're just trying to get over the hump on. The Niners don't feel that way about the Cowboys. And right now the Niners feel like the Eagles are the team that they have to beat. Yeah. And the Eagles are like, well, we have, we're thinking about the AFC. We're not even really concerned about the NFC.
Which is interesting because the Niners will travel to Philly.
Yes, they will.
And we might be having this same conversation
I guarantee
in reverse.
We will. Yeah, week 13.
That game might mean more to the Niners than it will to Philly. And I'm with you on that. I just have a hard time because I don't have the longevity.
Yeah.
Of like Philly owning the Niners. It's not like so like but I'm with you. The fact that they kept bringing it up and it really was in their head that they didn't have a quarterback, and I'll never forget. It was Debo, right, that went up to CMC and said, "You can play.
You can play quarterback, right?
Play quarterback in high school.
You threw a touchdown earlier this year, didn't you?"
He was like, "Dude, no."
Poor Josh Johnson,
I'm a
man.
running
How
back.
bad does that feel? Once that clip comes out, it's like, Dang,
Did
bro,
they
it's like
even
that.
throw a pass more than 5 yards after that injury?
That would have.
I know that was a
required me to
joke,
honestly
but is that like
intently watch that game?
Yeah, I gotta look up if that actually
The
even
second half,
happened.
they did not throw a pass. That I know for
At
sure.
all?
They did
Period?
not throw a pass, but Johnson got hurt in the second quarter, so I don't know what happened in the in-between. But
They did not throw a pass in the second half?
No, that was the whole thing. They
I
didn't.
thought it was just over 5 yards.
No, it was 11 runs. If I remember correctly, it was 11 runs, no passes.
Didn't know it was that bad. Wow. Anyways, the NBA is the gift that keeps on giving, and we have some sound from a guy who should, you would think, be in the state of euphoria.
Yes.
Like at the peak.
Mm-hmm.
The guy sounds like he's doing the worst job. We'll get into some of that stuff, too, from New York. But, yeah, we'll go into Media Day, not Kings-related, coming up next. You're listening to Zachariah. Chris Watkins right here, Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
On Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
At the UPS Store, we know this upcoming holiday is when things can get busy for small business owners.
Exactly. My to-do list and I don't take days off.
That's why you can count on us to be open and ready to help with every small business need, whether it's packing and shipping or if it's just to check your mailbox.
That's almost everything on my to-do list. My list and I can take the day off.
Your local, the everything to help you be unstoppable store. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. The UPS Store locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
For 75 years, the Keys family from Naturewood Home Furnishings has been serving families just like yours and mine. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. The Naturewood team takes great pride and significant effort to offer Northern California families a vast selection of home furnishings, most of which are made right here in this country. The kitchen table, which we purchased so many years ago, speaks to the enduring quality of the Naturewood product lines. We treasure memories made seated around that table with family and friends for birthday celebrations, school projects, and, many late-night meals when the day just got away from us. Naturewood has provided thousands with home furnishings that not only last for generations, but also lead to everlasting memories of cherished times. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings now during their 75th anniversary sale and get started making your own brand of memories. Meet the Keys family at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. 76ers MVP Joel Embiid said today he's informed USA Basketball he'll be playing for Team USA during the 2024 Olympics in Paris. In football, Chicago plays Washington tonight on Thursday Night Football. If you wish to partake, we have coverage of the game beginning at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. And in baseball, all 4 wildcard rounds ended with sweeps. The 4-division series begin on Saturday with Texas versus Baltimore, Minnesota versus Houston, Arizona versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Philadelphia against Atlanta. Those are your headlines. Let's return to more of Chris and Co. here on Sactown Sports.
your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Welcome back, Sacramento. Alongside Chris Watkins, I am Zachariah. This is Sactown Sports 1140 coming up. 10:45. We all plead the fifth. I don't know if we're still using that intro from Nathan. Nobody's really worked on another intro. I don't know if I should be offended by that. Maybe we'll play that intro. I don't know. But I got something special for your sister. I think that it's super sweet. A guy that I've been kind of turned on to in terms of he's a violinist, and I think that, you know, if your sister's listening, she'll enjoy it because you told me the story about how you remember your sister's birthday.
Ah, yes, gotcha. Yes,
I totally spoiled it. And I basically all but told
you. I still have no idea what it's
okay. Fair enough. And then we have a whole bunch of other stuff. Marshawn Lynch, did you see what he said about not only his head coach but his quarterback as well?
Spicy.
Oh, we're gonna have fun in the 40s. We're gonna go around the wacky world of sports. But right now, who won Media Day? When I just ask you directly, Chris Watkins, and I say who won Media Day, you say what? I have an answer. You tell me yours.
Jimmy Butler. It's got to be Jimmy Butler.
That's what I was going to say.
To me, like,
right.
I mean,
I wish we had a different answer, but
there is no other answer.
Yeah,
I mean, Jimmy Butler was the talk of just everybody on Media Day. I mean, the hair, the emo stuff, and then, you know, it brought back everybody to last year when he, you know, showed up with some locks that
was not his hair though, right? This was his hair last time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a technically kind of like it was his hair, but he definitely had like half of it was probably an extension. So like, I mean, it was his hair, but it wasn't all of his hair.
And why he does that.
And he shaved his mustache too.
And he had the lip rings and the eye rings and all sorts of stuff. You saw Bam. He couldn't even stand. He couldn't even pose for the picture.
There's no way I would be able like if,
either.
And like
if I did that today, imagine if I came in like that, just like what he did today. You'd be like, bro, like, what am I supposed to do? We're supposed to do a 4-hour show.
I just could not.
But I think part of it was that he likes to make fun of Media Day.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
He called it his Halloween. And he also loves that when they have to cut to shots of him when the NBA uses it, that's what they use.
So good.
Which I've heard they're going to use something different just because of how ridiculous it was.
Yeah, last year they used his NBA 2K photo.
Yeah, yes. But they like later in the year, right?
Yeah, I don't know when the line of demarcation was, but they started.
At some point, they were like, "We're not doing that." Yeah,
not always though, because the NBA posts the highlights on their YouTube channel, and they use Jimmy with the
locks.
Yeah, with the locks the entire season. So I don't know. I mean,
just different. I think maybe probably marquee games,
maybe like on
ABC or
no. So you know when like ESPN does the and coming up on Tuesday, it's the Heat against
and they show the players. Yeah,
Bucks. Yeah,
that's when they stopped doing it.
Well, they started by doing Jimmy Butler's 2K photo, and then they just started showing Bam Adebayo.
Gotcha.
That's the much
they
better,
just switched the whole player up.
Route.
Yeah, I think the other reason why he did or why he chose the emo theme,
yes,
he could have chosen anything, is that he didn't get Dame.
Yes, exactly.
And, you know, so I think that was probably something that he was looking at from. I don't know, the whole way that whole thing unfolded, I can't help but think that there is nothing but a ton of disdain from the furthest north and west portion of the United States to the furthest most south and east portion of the United States, because they not only did not want to work with the Heat, because the Heat wanted Holiday too.
Yes,
after the Dame trade went down. Not only not to you, we're going to go to your two biggest people that will be in the way of you getting to the championship.
Well, and that's why you should really be careful. This is just a general life lesson. It's not just in basketball, but you should be careful how you treat people, because you never know who that person's going to become or what kind of power that person at one point is going to have.
That's a great transition that you did on accident, because that leads me to the Joker, who is somebody that you probably would have passed over and not given maybe the ton of respect that you probably should have, because he looks unassuming.
Yes.
He won the championship.
He did. Yeah.
And he was somehow, there was like a race conversation in the middle of the season. We don't need to get into that, but like the MVPs voting and stuff like that. But like that guy, and I get it. He looks like your friend's dad.
Very unassuming.
Exactly. Yes. But he's also completely dominant. He puts up crazy numbers. Here's my other theory, Chris. The guy hates basketball.
No. I think it's actually opposite.
Wait, why?
Because we played 2.5 extra months and recovery and everything, so it was good. But I had fun. Summers that I had more fun.
Okay, this was them asking him if this is the most fun he's ever had in the summer. You would think the answer would be yes to that, right? Okay.
Yeah, right. It's just a summer of celebration.
Okay, Chris, you have your show here, right?
Yes, sir.
At Sactown Sports.
Yes, sir.
If you won an Emmy for that, or whatever the radio award is, is Emmy only TV? I don't know.
Emmy's TV.
Okay, you can tell I've never won an award. I don't know what the radio, but the radio version of that, right?
Yep.
And then you had the summer after you won the award, let's say in the spring.
Yep.
And I said, is this the best summer you've ever had? I would guess yes.
I'd probably say probably,
you reached the peak of your profession and you were rewarded for it and recognized.
And I probably celebrated being at the top.
And this guy says no. And the reason why is because I had to play 2.5. I had to play basketball more than I normally had in the past. And so the guy's just not happy. This is the same guy after he won the title and he was informed at the podium that the parade wasn't for like 5 days because he thought he was going back to his. He's like, oh, my.
Oh, geez.
Are you serious?
Oh, my
5 days? I have to go and celebrate with the
I
parade.
can't just go home. Like, are you kidding me?
This guy should be loving everything. I literally don't think he likes basketball.
No, and
I think he likes animals in his hometown.
I think he likes horses. I think he likes relaxing, and I think he just likes to do everything that doesn't have to do with basketball. And I can definitely relate for sure. I mean, as you asked me where my favorite place is,
in the commercial
I
break.
said home. I can relate to that to some extent, but the dude just doesn't seem like he really likes the business side of basketball, or the fact that, I mean, just the season and how long
I think he likes the game.
Yeah.
I think he likes when he's on the court.
Yes.
I think it's just everything else. But he enjoyed himself at the parade.
He definitely did.
But I mean, like, if you were to ask him, would you rather go play a basketball game or go tend to your horse?
Mm-hmm.
He would go.
He's going to tend to that horse 10 out of 10.
This one, he's trolling you guys. This one,
you think?
No, he knows now that you guys think he doesn't like basketball. This one is definitely trolling.
Oh, you're diving in deep.
Yeah, this is a
agree with that,
conspiracy
Chris?
theory. He's trolling.
I think
that's
it
genuine.
wouldn't surprise me if it's a little tongue in cheek, but I do think that he truthfully doesn't enjoy. Like I don't think he's saying like, oh yeah, I wish I didn't make the playoffs. That would have been a whole lot better. But I think there is a 10% or 15% of him that truly does not like the fact that the
I
season
think
was
it's
super long.
completely genuine. I think. I do think he likes basketball, but I think he's being honest when he's saying I would have rather have those 2.5 months back home. I mean, he wouldn't
100%.
trade it for the title.
The parade thing was not trolling. I think it
that
just
was
got
live reaction.
Yeah, it got so much traction that now he's trolling you with, oh, I don't like basketball.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
Now he's trolling.
Maybe. Okay. Well, let's get to this. I didn't know that there was a Nuggets-Lakers beef. Now, I know.
I didn't either until media day.
The Warriors lost to the Lakers in 6, I believe, and then the Lakers got swept by the Nuggets.
They did.
And apparently, Mr. New Contract, AD, apparently there's beef there that I didn't know about.
You want Anthony Davis? There's no sound to that. Do you want Michael Malone?
Oh, yeah, Michael Malone.
Yeah. I can't speak for anybody in LA. You know, I can speak for the 17 players on our team, 18 players now in our group. But if they're still worried about us, that's on them. This is a new season, new challenge, and it was a hell of a series against them. I know it was a 4-0 sweep, but all those games seemed like they went down to the wire. And as I said after that game 4, we have tremendous respect for that team. I have tremendous respect for Darvin Ham as a coach and the job that he did. But yeah, I don't listen to any of that stuff. I don't know what they're saying, and if we're on their minds, then I guess that's on them.
Well, this is again a situation. Well, this is again a situation, Chris, where do you believe the person that? Because I think everybody hears everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I think there are like in our industry, in terms of radio, there are people that say, I listen, or I'm going to listen to you on the ride home.
Yeah.
And I think there are some people that are completely lying.
Mm-hmm.
Of
course.
And they don't listen at all.
Yeah.
And I think
their name's Carmichael Dave.
And there's some people that listen and say that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So but in this sense, there's no way. This is the same guy that called out. He said, I think I'm going to retire. Like kind of making fun of LeBron because LeBron didn't say whether or not he was going to return for this season or whatever. There's no way this guy doesn't know everything that they're saying over there. And apparently they were not happy with the way that they celebrated them winning the title. But like if you're the Lakers, they were not even in the playoff discussion, Chris.
No.
Like late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they emerged and got to the Western Conference Finals. But to me, it was kind of crazy. I don't see the Nuggets and the Lakers as like some sort of rivalry.
No, and that's what was so weird about AD's statement was, I mean, yeah, he seemed really just perturbed. Yeah, I was trying to find the right word. It was, and that's really what it was. He just was really bothered by the Nuggets and how they. I don't even know really what he was that upset about.
So the beef started because when the Nuggets won, it was either game 1 or game 2, Malone went to the press conference and was like, everyone's talking about the Lakers, the Lakers, but here we are just grinding away and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, then specifically about the retirement stuff, when Malone went and said, I don't know if I'm going to return next year. That was obviously a shot at LeBron doing that earlier or whatever. And I get it. Look, in Sacramento, we get it. And anywhere outside of LA, you get it. LA gets all the attention, the spotlight, Hollywood. They have the winning time, they have all they get all the glitz and the glamour, Shaq and Kobe. And then, so I get why you would look at that in an irritated way. Like, why not pay attention to us?
Right. This is our time.
Yeah, exactly.
You all have had your time.
But to me, those are two different things, though. It's still not a rivalry.
Well,
I don't
that's
look
the thing
at
is
Nuggets Lakers as a rivalry.
It's funny because the Lakers fans would give Kings fans crap all the time because they're like, "Oh, you have to win in order for it to be a rivalry. It's pretty one-sided. It's a one-way thing. You guys are upset at us, but we don't even think about you."
And then the Nuggets win.
Feels like all of a sudden the shoe's on the other foot.
Tables are turned.
I don't think the Nuggets think about the Lakers really at all.
Yeah.
I think the Nuggets think about. I feel like the Nuggets at this point feel like the West is theirs. They can only beat themselves, as cliche as that is. I think, I feel like that's the Lakers feeling their oats a little bit and being like, oh yeah, everybody, they definitely are thinking about us too. And it's like, no, they took care of you guys real easy.
Well, we will get into plenty of NBA talk as Mr. Watkins was in the building for Media Monday. We'll talk about the Kings, what it means for their upcoming season, a ton of NBA talk, and a lot more to go. But coming up next, we all plead the fifth. It is fun in the 40s. We have fun in the 40 portion of the hour every hour. And we got some good stuff. I got something for Chris Watkins' sister. And we have Marshawn Lynch. He didn't talk about calling out names. Shout out Corrupt. That's an old Corrupt song, calling out names. But we'll have fun in the 40s coming up next. Zachariah, Chris Watkins, right here, Sactown Sports.
Hey, we running this back. We running this back.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey guys, do you know what makes Revive Men's Health Sacramento different? You. Every Revive treatment and medication is personalized just for you. Revive has the experts that guys go to when their current treatment isn't working. They have a complicated medical condition, or they're just not happy with their daily performance. Since 2011, they've helped thousands of local men suffering with the symptoms of low T and ED. Their goal is simple, to get to the bottom of your issues and fix them. Your best performance requires more than generic ED medications or a low-dose testosterone booster at a low-ball price like you find online. Revive medications are custom compounded, affordable, and guaranteed to resolve your issues. Stop dealing with the symptoms of low T or ED. Book your free T-check and exam and save $199 today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit us at ReviveMen'sHealth.com. At the UPS Store, we know this upcoming holiday is when things can get busy for small business owners.
Exactly. My to-do list and I don't take days off.
That's why you can count on us to be open and ready to help with every small business need, whether it's packing and shipping or if it's just to check your mailbox.
That's almost everything on my to-do list. My list and I can take the day off.
Your local, the everything to help you be unstoppable store, the UPS Store. Be unstoppable. The UPS Store locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
Hi, it's Brian Bennett from Bennett's Restaurants in Roseville and Sacramento, and our newest restaurant, Bennett's West Side Grill at Rockland's Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. We believe in serving the freshest handcrafted foods in a warm, convivial setting. We feature prime seafood and hand-cut steaks, and we have a great wine list with 60 selections by the glass from just $12. Come on in and let us treat you like family and enjoy our wide selection of prime seafood and steak. Having a meeting or large group dinner, our newest restaurant in Rockland features 3 different size event spaces for large group gatherings. 80 guests, not a problem. Bennett's Kitchen Bar and Market, Eureka and Lead Hill Road in Roseville, and Bennett's American Cooking on Fair Oaks and Howe in Sacramento, and our brand new Bennett's West Side Grill, Rockland's Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. Come let us put a smile on your face and enjoy all our hospitality. Find us on the web at bennettsrestaurants.com. Eat well, stay well, and remember, Bennett's is where you'll always receive a hospitable welcome.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out, Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
I am Zachariah. He is Chris. Don't call me Christopher Watkins. Does your sister call you Christopher?
No. I have like a handful of cousins who do, and that's really it. My grandma does sometimes.
Okay.
That's more when she's being playful. But
gotcha.
Besides that, no one really calls me Christopher.
Fair enough. Well, that is Mr. Watkins.
Yes,
I am
sir.
Zachariah. This is Sactown Sports 1140. Coming up top of the hour, why Dallas's defense might cause some problems for Brock Purdy.
Uh-oh.
How's that for a tease?
It's a pretty good one.
I don't see
It's
it.
a pretty good one.
That Diggs injury, I think we're going to look back on this season and see that Diggs injury was a lot more significant. I mean, it's kind of a blip on the radar when you have all this NFL news coming down and, drama here and there or whatever. But especially because when I get nerded out, and I don't often get nerded out, but when I do, I was looking at the amount of times defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, who a lot of people think could be a head coach sometime,
again,
the amount that he does man coverage, can't do that when you've lost one of your best man coverage guys.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's why they lost to the Cardinals. And it's why whatever you're going to hit me with from the Athletic, shout out, free promotion, you're going to tell me why they might bring some problems.
Yes, sir.
I'm not buying.
Okay.
But right now, it's time for the fifth. Are we playing the intro, Kyle?
Oh.
Now, on Zachariah and Watkins,
Where's this guy been?
I plead the fifth.
Good question.
Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything you say, 5.
This is where we go around the wacky world of sports, fun in the 40s, and we're going to start with, I've never even met your sister. I don't even know her name.
Yeah.
But I know you.
Yes, sir.
And as a byproduct, I have love for your sister. And here is a dedication to her right here. This is a violinist who my buddy wants to bring to we have once a year, we all get together.
Yeah.
A big group of friends. He wants to bring this guy just to play like our favorite songs with the violin. But here is the song that makes you remember your sister's birthday. Here it goes. He's really good, dude.
That's crazy.
He actually does the lyrics of the song.
Yeah, that's what I was like. It's
instead
not
of
even like
actual
the
beat.
music. Yeah, like
like as if he's singing it. And we learned, I believe, on air,
that
your sister's birthday was the predicted birth of one of the childs from the.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
September 21st, and
because that would be normally very random, correct?
Yes.
Just to throw out September 21st.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you remember the 21st night of September?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, every time. I mean, everybody always plays that song on that date, and
for your sister.
Well, no, not for her, but that's usually how I remember. To your point, to the original point.
Gotcha.
I never.
So is that why that was played when it was played?
Yes. Yes, because it was the day of, and I was like,
I'm so naive sometimes.
It's my sister's birthday. And,
that makes it easy.
A lot of the time, it's happened 2 or 3 times now over the years that I've heard that song on that day and been like, oh crap,
gotta call my sister.
That's they're playing that because it's today.
Be admitting that on air.
Yeah, it's fine. My family knows I'm not great.
No, she's not listening. Like you said.
She's definitely not listening.
It's great when he does rap songs.
Yes, because I feel like I used to watch him on Vine.
Oh, this guy's great.
It's crazy.
I didn't know how famous he was, but yeah, he's fantastic. He also
that's
did
ridiculous.
He did Genuine Pony. Which is from my era, probably like 97, 98 or something. Just great stuff. So anyways, wanted to do that.
Underrated, underutilized, probably. Violin, I feel like it's just not, especially, it's
He
definitely more of a
makes it
classical
cool.
instrument.
Yeah.
It's not really used in modern day, I'm gonna make a hip hop beat with some funky violin.
Yeah. Well, I think the cool part is that he does the lyrics.
Yes.
He doesn't
absolutely.
like do the harmony or the beat or whatever.
Right.
He does like what the guy would be singing.
Right.
And like I saw like a Be Legit rap song, which is totally random. Shout out Vallejo.
Yeah.
But he did like a Be Legit rap song, and he basically did the rap lyrics with the violin, which was amazing. But let's now awkwardly transition to Marshawn Lynch and his thoughts with Pete Carroll. Okay. Those were one of those moments.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton in my life, but it was one of those I remember where I was when.
Yeah.
I can tell you the cross streets of where I was when I saw the Seahawks not hand the ball off, and Niners fans out there are probably going to be angry thinking about this when it comes to not giving the ball to Frank Gore.
Right.
When they threw the fade to Crabtree. To me, it was very similar. And they threw the interception.
Yes, they did.
And
Right
Tom
to Malcolm
Brady
Malcolm.
got one of his 7 trophies. But
Yes.
here he is talking about not only his coach, but his quarterback.
Before we play this, hold on. Kyle, have we heard this before? Have you heard this? Because
I've only seen the money quote. I haven't heard the full clip.
Okay.
Oh, you're making sure there's no swear words?
Yes, because I'm like,
yeah,
hey.
did you edit it?
Oh, we're not worried about that. This
Okay.
is
I'm
Fox
worried
Sports,
about it.
Fox Sports took care of it for us.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Your expert opinion, you played in Seattle, you know Russ, you know Pete. What happened with that relationship?
Man, look, man, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm not I wouldn't be the right person to speak on their relationship because I didn't with them. You feel what I'm saying? So
You didn't mess with who?
I didn't with Pete, and then Russ was like just a quarterback for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll take Russ and I'll put him right there at quarterback and I'll rock with him.
Right.
Because I have done that.
Right.
But as far as anything else, it's like there's
Y'all didn't have a relationship outside of football.
No, there's no. It can't pick up the phone and call old boy or nothing.
Right.
And then
What you mean you couldn't pick up the phone?
I don't got his number.
But you would. But if you
yeah, for sure.
Right.
Okay. I told you the Marshawn Lynch story that I had a class with him.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he remembered the actual. Yeah.
The class.
Well, he remembered the
specifically,
class.
too, yeah.
I forget me.
Yeah.
The fact that he remembered that it was Sociology 102 was
Right.
the thing that blew my mind because
that's
he only attended 2 classes and he slept through both of them. Not that I'm putting that out there. Statute of limitations? I hope
you're
so.
Fine. You're fine.
But to be a star running back for a perennial Super Bowl winning and almost winning a second back-to-back team, and for you to talk about your coach and your quarterback like he was just the quarterback and I don't F with Pete.
Right.
That's crazy. You're not going to hear that from CMC talking about Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. Am I correct on that?
That's wild. You don't typically hear from, especially football players, because football players have like a different level of respect for each other. Like, that locker room and just those environments are a lot more
they
tight.
call it like what's it called? It's like called they got a word for it.
It's a
community, but not a community.
A brotherhood,
Yeah, brotherhood,
whatever
yeah.
you want to call it. Like
Yeah.
the football locker rooms are usually really, really tight knit. Even like Kirk Cousins is going to be close with a lot of his teammates,
For
as weird as
sure.
he is. So it's really, really strange to hear. I mean, and if you listen to even more of that interview, he goes into pretty good detail about exactly who and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Like Russell Wilson and
yeah.
who was treated, who was told to treat Russell differently.
Yeah.
And, it's just an incredibly damning story that he tells, and it's not something I'm like shocked. I cannot. I've never heard anyone talk that candidly and that openly about a situation that everyone kind of assumed was like that.
Mm-hmm.
But hearing it straight from Marshawn's mouth is just, it's incredible to listen to. I would highly recommend people hear the full clip because it's like 5 minutes of him telling a story of essentially Pete Carroll telling the Legion of Boom and Marshawn, hey, if you have to talk to Russ, talk to a coach first, and then they'll talk to Russ for you.
Which is like, and like part of me gets it, right? Like, you know, you think about high school and you go to lunch, right? Like different people sit at different tables, you know
absolutely.
what I mean? And I was always like the guy that was on the hoop squad. So that was kind of my identity.
Yeah.
You
were at that table.
Yeah. And so I always assumed that there was separation, but to word it the way that he did, that I didn't F with the head coach, which would be like saying you didn't mess with, a teacher or a coach if you were on a team or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that Russell was just my quarterback.
Just a colleague.
Would be like saying like, yeah, he was my shortstop.
Yeah.
Like not even addressing him by name and then saying he doesn't even have his number.
Doesn't have his number.
And that was a Super Bowl winning team, Chris.
Yeah. No, I mean, he tells us, again, I don't want to ruin the entire thing, but he tells a story about how the reason why he doesn't mess with Russ is essentially because Russ had a bad game. Marshawn wanted to talk to him and like on some brotherly stuff and be like, hey man, if you have a bad game, that's what I'm here for. Like,
can't
you
even
gotta
get
trust
to
me
him immediately.
And I guess Russ had talked to a coach because as Marshawn says, he doesn't have his number. So Marshawn reaches out to a coach, says, hey, give me Russ's number. The coach then talks to Russ and is like, hey, Marshawn said he was going to call you. Did you talk to him?
Yeah.
And Russell's like, yeah, I just got off the phone with him. Good conversation, whatever.
Yeah.
Coach then calls Marshawn and is like, hey, like, how'd the conversation with Russ go? He's like, I never got through to him. Like, I got a call from a blocked number, didn't answer it.
Yeah.
And so I guess, it was,
well, of course,
just have weird feelings about each other.
Look, Chris, I got love for you.
Yeah.
But if I had to go through Kyle to talk to you, I would feel some type of way about you. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
If they were like, oh, what do you think about Walker? I'm
have
like,
your people talk to my
cool
people.
Dude, but I had to go through Kyle to talk to him about the show. You know what I mean?
It's a mediator.
And I think that's kind of why he lost the locker room in Seattle, and now he's in Denver, and that was weird when he was doing calisthenics on the plane. And
it makes me think of what's that Denver situation like right now?
Oh, well, I got into that with Whitey on Tuesday. The game ball to Sean Payton, the game that they probably should have lost. And I think that whole Denver situation is very murky.
It's a mess.
But when you make enough money, you know what I mean? Then you change things. Yeah. So I'm sure I don't think Sean Payton's going to go anywhere. But coming up next, top of the hour, why Dallas's defense might cause some problems for Brock Purdy. We'll get into that next. You're listening to Zachariah, Chris Watkins, right here, Sactown Sports, 1140.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The City of Sacramento offers grass conversion rebates to help you replace your thirsty lawn with a naturally water-efficient landscape. Whether you own a home or business in Sacramento, you may be eligible. Learn more at sacwaterwise.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
And it's swung on line to left center, base hit, and the A's have won it on a walk-off line drive base hit to left center.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is in full swing. Frankie Cardicelli and Brennan Nunez have been out at Golden One Center covering camp. You can read their news and notes at SactownSports.com. 76ers MVP Joel Embiid said today that he informed USA Basketball he'll be playing for Team USA during the 2024 Olympics in Paris. And in football, Chicago plays Washington tonight on Thursday Night Football. If you wish to partake, we have coverage of the game beginning at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. Reminder, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Let's return to more Chris and Co. here on Sactown Sports.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
The Beam Team, when is the last time the Beam was lit, Chris? Game 6?
Yeah, Game 6. What was that?
In the playoffs.
April?
Yeah, that would be April 29th.
Well, we're going to get some more beams lit. I assure you that.
They did do a test beam, right?
Yes, they did do it. That's a great point, Kyle. Yeah, they did do a test beam during the summer.
Test beam?
Yeah, because they're,
to make sure that the beam is still rocking.
I think they're making it stronger. Okay. Like, I legitimately think that they're making it so you can see it
from
all throughout
Utah?
the Sacramento area. It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me.
Fair enough.
It could get lit on Sunday. We got Kings preseason basketball on Sunday.
That's what I'm talking about.
Come on.
Can't wait. Edge of my seat.
From Vancouver.
Welcome back in Sacramento. 1 hour in, 3 to go. He's Chris Watkins. I am Zachariah. This is Sactown Sports 1140. We got Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass. We've got sound for you throughout the day. We got football talk. We got NBA talk. Are you a break the fourth wall kind of guy?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
You look at the camera?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a camera looker.
The Jim Halpert thing.
Yeah, well, Kyle just did it. He waved to everybody from behind the glass. I don't break Emil does it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't break I don't even want it there.
Sometimes,
Fair enough.
Chris does it very subtly. I like it.
I like to do it for comedic effect.
Yeah, you know what you are? You're like Jim
during,
from The Office.
That's how I try and do.
Yeah,
I like to throw those in sometimes.
You look and you go, Yeah, exactly.
It's usually when Dave is on, which
Fair
is a
enough.
little tougher because I have to like turn around to that.
You and Dave have a funny relationship.
He's a funny guy.
You
What can
give
I
him-
say? He cracks me up.
916-339-1140 is where you can join us. You can either be heard by calling, or you can be read by texting, or you can jump in. We are live streaming on YouTube. Just search Sactown Sports. I'm on Twitter at Zach Sports. Please follow me. I beg for followers. I'm not ashamed to admit that I beg for followers.
No.
At Zach Sports.
I've been told by many people that, it's closed mouths don't get fed. Like, if you really want to grow this thing, and, we're in the business of unfortunately being public figures.
Yep.
You got to put it out there.
What's funny is that if I didn't do this, and people don't believe me, but if I didn't do this, I wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have
that's how it
Facebook.
works.
I wouldn't have Instagram. I wouldn't have nothing.
Yeah.
The only reason why I have it is because of the business that we're in.
Got to stay informed too.
Yeah, he is at Chris M. Watkins. Follow him on Twitter. Tweet at him. Say good things or bad things. Either way, we'll be entertained by it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Also, what did you just say? Closed mouths don't get fed?
Yes, sir.
Another one of my favorite sayings, since we're doing sayings talk, before we get into why Dallas's defense might cause some problems for Brock Purdy. I like, you can't fall from the floor.
Okay. You can't fall from the floor unless the floor collapses. Yeah. No, I like it.
Well, the
ceiling is the roof.
Well, you ruined my sentence. Who was that, Jordan?
That's Jordan, yeah. That's my favorite.
No, but you can't fall from the floor, which means like you can't get any worse. So like you can only get better. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I like that actually. I've never heard that before.
At your worst, you're at the floor. You can't fall from that.
Yeah, once you're
until
at rock
you
bottom.
just ruined it by saying that
Unless
the floor could
falls out
collapse.
from under you. And
Assuming it is a non-collapsible floor, you're good to go. All right. Coming up, what are we doing? 11:15. Harden. I'm just gonna say Harden.
I'm so done.
I think well, that's not good for our segment.
It's not great.
I think just saying Harden is enough.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that, how that's going. Such a bizarre, almost like an SNL skit. So we'll do that
It's getting there.
at 11:15. But right now, you tell me.
Yes.
Because I am Mr. Not Worried. I was not worried last week when we did shows. And I told you that I thought that the Cardinals game was going to be a bit of a cakewalk.
Yep.
Now it was semi-competitive.
Sure.
Again, I think the Cardinals are going to be competitive in every game, probably much to their ownership's chagrin.
Absolutely.
Chris, I don't think that they want them to be competitive in every game, but I think they're going to be pesky throughout the year. But they ultimately had a very, again, with every Niners win, despite there being sometimes, even with the Giants, I believe it was a one score.
Yeah.
But were you ever uncomfortable with the Niners not getting the W? In any Niners game so far?
No, the Cardinals game did it crossed my mind for 3 seconds. Yeah, when it was a one-score game and Josh
You had
Dobbs
some doubt in there? Yeah.
It wasn't doubt. It was more just this could happen.
Okay.
And I think even the fact that it just lasered across my mind, just
believe
went
you.
across the track a little bit.
All
and,
right.
I was like, the Niners could, if they're not careful here, this thing could get real.
Okay, I believe you. Well, look, as we've talked about, I think the Niners are living rent-free in the Dallas Cowboys organization from the top to the bottom, to the training staff, all the way up to the owner. They're all talking about him. Dak Prescott said, "You're trying to pee me off," and I thank you for peeing me off because he's going to get hyped for this game. I am walking into this, again, feeling comfortable that the Niners will win. Not in a blowout by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think I'm ever going to have a worry about them losing the game. Now, perhaps it might go differently, but you tell me, sir, why Dallas's defense might cause some problems for Brock Purdy.
So this is all stemming from an article that David Lombardi wrote for The Athletic. Of course, David Lombardi is a writer for the San Francisco 49ers for The Athletic. And he wrote about essentially the divisional game last year in which the Niners and Cowboys faced off. Brock Purdy was 19-29, 214 yards, no interceptions in that game, which was big as the Niners kind of squeaked it out 19-12 in that game, largely in part because Brock Purdy didn't throw interceptions. However, the thing about that game that the 49ers going into it were very concerned about was the Cowboys pass rush and how elite that pass rush can be. Obviously, we know Micah Parsons is over there. However, last year, the 49ers, in an attempt to kind of slow down their pass rush, thought, okay, let's start by running the ball and set the tone there. So that way we get them on their heels. And then, it's a little bit easier to pass in those situations. The Niners only had 27 yards rushing in the first half. And so because of that, they were kind of forced to start passing the ball in the second half, to which the Niners allowed 12 pressures on Brock Purdy in last year's divisional game, 9 of which came from the right side of the offensive line, which
it's not where Trent Williams is.
Exactly. It's not where Trent Williams is.
Yeah.
And if anything, it's where they're most susceptible on the offensive line is obviously we know Mike McGlinchey is no longer there. And
You're good.
Daniel Brunskill also is no longer there.
Yep.
And it was that Cowboys game was Brock Purdy's least efficient outing in terms of expected points added and also in terms of QBR. And it's Kyle Shanahan said after that game that was really the thing that they were most concerned about with slowing down this 49ers offense is if you can get to Brock, it just kind of throws off everything else because, he's a guy who really likes to be comfortable, likes to hit his open receivers. And the quickest way, look at Patrick Mahomes in a couple of those Super Bowls with a downed offensive line.
Yep.
You can slow down any quarterback, and especially a guy like Brock Purdy. That's really how you can start to see him struggling is if Micah Parsons is in his face all day long.
Yeah, and I might eat crow. I might be on cold takes, the Twitter feed or whatever. But everything that you just said only makes me more confident in the Niners winning on Sunday. It's like, yeah, you're right. That wasn't a very inspiring win over the Cowboys.
Sure.
And yes, like the points, you would have thought they would have scored 40 in that game.
Right.
No, it was 19. But that to me is like, okay, their defense was great. And their offense completely underachieved, and they still won the game relatively closely. It wasn't even a field goal game. You know what I mean? So, to me, it's like the offense can't be worse,
right?
And the defense, maybe they could be a little bit worse, but in general, that gives me more confidence in the 49ers W on Sunday.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like this Sunday, this Sunday when the Jets were playing the Chiefs. It was Zach Wilson had his best game that I think he'll ever have in his career. Outperformed Patrick Mahomes. Still wasn't enough. Still couldn't win that game. And so, to your point, Brock Purdy has quite literally, in terms of quarterback rating, in terms of expected points added, has his worst game of his career. Even then, the Niners were still able to pull it out. And I think with how Christian McCaffrey's playing right now, I have a tough time seeing them slowing him down in the same way they were able to slow him down in the playoffs.
And we'll talk about this throughout the show. But when you're talking about a team whose head coach, quarterback, star offensive lineman, and the actual guy himself didn't know how many touchdowns he had or how many he's had in his past, you're talking about a plethora of riches, Chris. And it's like, so for me, again, even like a big time loss, I'd walk away going, the Niners are the better team. And so for me, this is all about Dallas. And like we said, living rent-free in their head, I think that they're going to be very much more consumed with this game, which almost makes me feel like the Niners have an even better chance because they're going to be chilling. Like you always talk about playing calm.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when Joe Montana was in the huddle and saw John Candy in the stands when he was in the Super Bowl making the game-winning drive against the Bengals.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like cool.
Right.
Cool as a cucumber. They're going to be that, and Dallas is not. They're going to put a lot more into it. So, look, in the very least, it's going to be one of the few games on the schedule, along with the Eagles game, where I'm going to go, okay, it's going to be fun to have a barometer for the Niners, but I will not walk. I hate to take like the wind out of the sails for the game, but I'm not going to walk away feeling any differently about the Niners.
Yeah, no,
we'll see.
I think that's totally fair for the reasons that we talked about earlier. I think that what you're saying definitely makes a lot of sense, and if anything, the Cowboys can come out too energized. I think that's definitely a thing too. You talk about how the Niners will probably come out calm. I definitely could see the Cowboys trying to make a statement a little bit too much and forcing the issue. And a lot of times, especially against this 49ers defense, you try and be too aggressive on a play, and that'll lead to a huge explosive play that ends up being the death of you.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll talk about this again in like the 12 o'clock hour, basically Brock Purdy being the focal point of all of this. And I'm the one that's most guilty about it. But coming up next, James Harden, good old James Harden. Media Day has given us so much. This is a guy that said in another country he would never play for a team that was associated with a guy that's still associated with it. And now he showed up, but apparently it's drama-free. Plus, Wemby apparently had 5 jobs.
What?
When he wasn't in America? Yeah, we got all sorts of stuff from Media Day. Media Day is like the gift that keeps on giving. So we'll do that next. He's Chris Watkins. I'm Zachariah. Sactown Sports, 1140.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL?
Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Knocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"? "You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa." Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Yes, sir. We do have a football game tonight.
I know. I keep forgetting.
We'll do a little Thursday night football preview for you. We're going to have that right here on Sactown Sports, correct, Kyle?
Yes.
You running the board for that bad boy or no?
I hope not.
You never know.
Our friend Nate is sick, so I don't know if I'm coming back or not.
Yeah, I heard him. He had to go live stream for the Return of the Empire.
Return of the Empire, yeah.
I was listening to that on my ride home. Yeah. Welcome back in, Sacramento. He is Chris Watkins. I am Zachariah. This is Sactown Sports, 1140. Coming up, bottom of the hour. That's right. Baseball. Baseball.
Woo!
There are some interesting angles that I can spin this like a spider, okay? I can spin a web around interest. One being, he's a horse. That's my Bruce Bochy impersonation. Him advancing. Both games, or both series, I should say, sweeps, and teams moving on, and the difference in attendance, we can do some of that stuff. And whatever.
I just want to state for the record, even though I'm the only baseball fan on this program, I did not put this in the rundown. I heard you with Whitey saying that only your mom and Bruce Bochy still like baseball. So
well, yeah, and me and Whitey.
Okay.
I was saying outside of me, I have love for it. I grew up on baseball, but yeah, I mean, obviously my interest in it has kind of waned. And if you're an A's fan, then you can forgive me and understand why. But anyways, we'll do it like a Giants spin on it. We are the home of the AAA squad for the Giants. So Bruce Bochy advancing and the Giants making a change in the managerial position. We can do that. Plus the attendance stuff is pretty damning,
pretty crazy.
So we'll do that. I mean, it's October, right?
It is. Yeah,
you know baseball what I mean? Season. Yeah, it's baseball season, baseball playoff time. We'll do that bottom of the hour. Right now, though, James Harden. I say that to you, Chris, and you said before we went to break that you're over it. You're done with it.
Very much so.
So explain. Even though you're over it and you don't want to talk about it,
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just I've been upset about it since day one. I mean, I didn't. Some things have came out about what Harden was promised and maybe what he wasn't promised, and back and forth on that. But I just never understood.
Do you have any details? Sorry to interrupt. Do you have any details on that? Because from what I can gather, he was promised like he was going to get way more guaranteed money because he took less.
Yeah.
And that's why he's so upset.
I mean, essentially.
But he signed a fat contract.
There's like wink deals where it's like, hey, I'll sign for less, but you're going to, sign me to an extension and that'll be for more money. And essentially what happened was Daryl Morey said, yeah, we're not going to extend you. And
but they did.
James Harden picked up his player option, and that's why he is on this team right now. And that's what I didn't understand is if James truly was upset about the money he was going to get, I don't understand why he opted in and just felt like, especially with Daryl Morey, a guy who we just saw last season do this with Ben Simmons. I don't know why James Harden was essentially calling Daryl's bluff and thinking that, okay, well, if I opt in, I know you guys don't want me, so you're going to have to move me. And they essentially have been in a staring contest ever since. And now it seems like James Harden, after missing, I believe, only the first practice of training camp there in Colorado right now, James is now just going to training camp. And I mean, there's some reports out there that he's pretty much intending to do what Ben Simmons did last year and just not care. I have also heard that James Harden is going to try and show up and be drama-free. So I'm not sure which one is actually true, but if I had to guess based off of James's history, I would definitely say that he's just going there because he wants to be so undesirable that they're just like, let's get this guy out of here as soon as possible.
And we've seen him in past, both with the Rockets and with the Nets, show up disinterested, and then all of a sudden, it's why I joke about the fat suit.
Yes, the fat suit.
I think literally it's a fat suit because I've seen him like a day later drop 15 pounds and look like he's totally in shape. But here's Woj saying, drama-free in Philly camp.
Malika, largely anticlimactic, and that was a good thing for the Philadelphia 76ers. James Harden showed up, he got dressed, he stretched, and he practiced. He talked with his coaches, he talked with officials around the team, I think largely like any other player who was just arriving, but he isn't just any other player. And, certainly people were watching closely in practice, waiting to see what it would look like. But I was told it was drama-free.
Drama-free.
Okay.
Seems like that is insane since it seems like there's nothing but drama surrounding that. And also, I love the breakdown of he showed up, he stretched,
put on his shoes.
Yeah, it'd be like
then
if I was
took a shower.
Like, Chris showed up. He watched the game last night. He read an article. And then he was behind the microphone. It's like, okay, so basically he did what he's supposed to do.
Quite literally did his job. Yeah, I mean, it's.
How do you see this playing out?
I don't know. That's where I was going to go.
Because I thought it would have, like, I feel like, especially what you saw with Dame, and then in a corresponding move, what they did with Holiday, all of this was before media day. So I felt like if there was something that was going to be done, it would have been done prior to Monday.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to make a. I mean, I think it's more just the value is not there. I don't know what James Harden's value is, but I think it's not what Philly expects to get. Like, I think Daryl Morey, again, is a person who is always going to try and extract as much value as humanly possible out of an asset. And if I had to guess, James Harden's market value is in the tank right now. I mean, there's really only a handful of teams that would even want his services. And then when you have to consider what you're going to give up in order to get him, I don't think anyone's going to be that desperate to make a move like that. I mean, there was a lot of smoke around, will James Harden go to the Clippers? I don't know if the Clippers would be a better team if they trade off Norman Powell and whoever
Marcus Morris.
Marcus Morris, whatever young guys they want.
But it would be the names, though, Chris. You know how that goes. It would be Harden, Kawhi, and Paul George. So it would be looked at in a different. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that they would be better because of it, but it would be viewed as something different, which would lead you to believe that maybe that trade could go down. But I just don't see where the end game is here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think what happened was he didn't show up to media day. He got fined. And he's probably getting, his money manager's probably calling him going, hey, James, I'm not getting my 5% or 10% or whatever.
Money on bottles.
Exactly.
You got to work in order to pay for that.
Exactly. So I think he's showing up because of that. Because this is a guy, you don't go to China and say, I will never. I mean, it's not even like he was like, I'm disgruntled or I'm unhappy. He said, I will never play for an organization that Daryl Morey is a part of ever. And so when you say something like that, you kind of draw the line in the sand. And now it's like, and obviously he's lowering his trade value because other teams are like, well, this guy doesn't want to be there. So I'm going to offer you less.
Exactly. No, I think if I had to guess how it ends at this point, I think James has got to play for the Sixers, as uncomfortable, as awkward as that is. I just don't see a route again for anybody trading for him at this point. With training camps going on, you'd probably want to integrate him into training camp if you're trading for him. I think he's got to play the season out. If not, I mean, just really try and spark interest up again towards the trade deadline. But at this point, I just think he's got to play the season and then hit free agency, and then he'll truly see what his market is. But this is kind of the first instance of a player trying to call a GM's bluff, and I kind of think the GM is just going to win.
Well, we saw the GM win with
I
Portland.
guess with Portland, yeah.
So, anyways, it'll be interesting. We'll get to more stuff. Wemby having 5 jobs overseas, and how much different it is being in America. And then just a bunch of news. Joel Embiid playing for Team USA.
Yep.
KD also into it. Fox,
We'll
not
see,
so much. We'll get into that later in the show. But coming up, bottom of the hour, it's baseball season, baby. It's October. I am a Libra. I'm an October baby.
Same.
My baby is, oh, really?
I'm not a Libra, but Scorpio. But yeah, October.
Oh, okay.
End of October.
What date?
26.
Okay, I'm the 8th.
Oh,
I'm coming up on Sunday.
I was like, yeah, you're coming up.
The big 4-0.
Okay.
Having a whole bash, all that good stuff.
Wow.
But October also means playoff baseball. So we'll talk about attendance stuff. Whitey was obsessed with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not
He
great.
brought up the attendance like 100 times. Well, yeah, it's really bad in one particular area.
Yeah.
And then a Bay Area manager, as they are making a change, also advancing in the playoffs. We'll talk some playoff baseball coming up next. You're listening to Zachariah, Chris Watkins, right here. So, Sactown Sports, 1140.
Okay? Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
For 75 years, the Keys family from Naturewood Home Furnishings has been serving families just like yours and mine. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. The Naturewood team takes great pride and significant effort to offer Northern California families a vast selection of home furnishings, most of which are made right here in this country. The kitchen table, which we purchased so many years ago, speaks to the enduring quality of the Naturewood product lines. We treasure memories made seated around that table with family and friends for birthday celebrations, school projects, and, well, many late-night meals when the day just got away from us. Naturewood has provided thousands with home furnishings that not only last for generations, but also lead to everlasting memories of cherished times. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings now during their 75th anniversary sale and get started making your own brand of memories. Meet the Keys family at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
Hi, it's Brian Bennett from Bennett's Restaurants in Roseville and Sacramento, and our newest restaurant, Bennett's West Side Grill at Rockland's Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. We believe in serving the freshest handcrafted foods in a warm, convivial setting. We offer a great brunch featuring all your favorite plates, eggs Benedict, omelets, stuffed French toast, and much more. Pair the great food with great mimosas, and the weekend fun has just begun. And did you know that our Bubbles and Brunch special, featuring any 2 brunch entrees and a bottle of bubbles, is just $44 for 2? Having a meeting or large group dinner? Our newest restaurant in Rockland features 3 different event-sized spaces for large group gatherings. 80 guests, no problem. Bennett's Kitchen Bar and Market, Eureka and Lead Hill Roads in Roseville, and Bennett's American Cooking on Fair Oaks and Howe in Sacramento. And our brand new Bennett's Westside Grill at Rockland's Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. Find us on the web at bennettsrestaurants.com and book your reservation today. Eat well, stay well, and remember, Bennett's is where you'll always receive a hospitable welcome.
Hey guys, do you know what makes Revive Men's Health Sacramento different? You. Every Revive treatment and medication is personalized just for you. Revive has the experts that guys go to when their current treatment isn't working. They have a complicated medical condition, or they're just not happy with their daily performance. Since 2011, they've helped thousands of local men suffering with the symptoms of low T and ED. Their goal is simple, to get to the bottom of your issues and fix them. Your best performance requires more than generic ED medications or a low-dose testosterone booster at a low-ball price like you find online. Revive medications are custom compounded, affordable, and guaranteed to resolve your issues. Stop dealing with the symptoms of low T or ED. Book your free T-check and exam and save $199 today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit us at revivemenshealth.com.
Hustle up. We've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you, and the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial #250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is underway, and Frankie Cardicelli and Brennan Nunez have been out at Golden One Center covering camp. You can read all their news and notes and hear some player interviews up right now at SactownSports.com. In football, Chicago plays Washington tonight on Thursday Night Football. If you wish to partake, we have coverage of the game beginning at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. And in baseball, all 4 wildcard rounds ended with sweeps. The 4 division series begin Saturday with Texas versus Baltimore, Minnesota versus Houston, Arizona versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Philadelphia against Atlanta. Now let's return to more of Chris and company to break down baseball right now.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Lefty on lefty, the infield is in, and the pitch to Bryson. Fastball hit in the air, deep to right field. Going back is Sanchez. He's going to just watch it go. A grand slam for Bryson Stott. He has lifted the roof off the building. And the Phillies have opened it up. They're on top 7-0.
That's what I'm talking about. Excitement, baby. Baseball. Playoff baseball.
Woo!
You sound so enthusiastic.
Oh, yeah. I will say playoff baseball infinitely better than regular season.
There you go.
Infinite.
That's what I'm talking about. Welcome back, Sacramento. He's Chris Watkins. I am Zachariah. This is Sactown Sports 1140. You can join the program anytime that you would like. You can be heard or read at 916-339-1140. Coming up at 1145, we all plead the fifth. That's fun in the 40s. And it's the getting to know you segment. Yes, We've been doing that every time you and I have been on air. I've got some pressing questions. One that we have learned that I have the definitive answers for these questions. You more of a roundabout way. Yeah, which is fine. But now, playoff baseball. Okay, so we had not very interesting opening series.
Sure.
Series? Opening series?
Opening series. The plural of series is series.
Got it. Okay.
Love that. Love the English language.
So the Rangers on the road sweep up the Rays. Bruce Bochy over a fan base
I guess it
that
was
apparently
technically
doesn't really
on the
care.
road, right?
Yeah. Technically. Might have been more Rangers fans than
I really think there might have been.
Twins mop up the Blue Jays. Diamondbacks beat up the Brewers.
How about that?
And the Phillies take care of the Marlins. Do any of those series do anything for you?
Well, I mean, they were over pretty quick, but that Diamondbacks Brewers, I've watched more baseball in the past 2 days than I honestly have watched all year long.
Yeah.
I will say that especially game one was a really good, exciting game. I mean, it pretty much ended up coming down to that Evan Longoria beautiful snag double play. That was probably the most exciting game that I watched. But I'm also a fan of home runs, as we've established. And that Phillies game, that grand slam that Kyle played to start the segment got me out of my seat. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty excited to see that one.
Nice, yeah, for sure. And then just in terms of the attendance talk, in terms of the Devils,
oh my gosh,
here's where I don't understand it. Okay, so they won 99 games, right? And look, as a person that grew up on the A's, I understand when you don't have a great stadium, and you're in a market where it's not the highest, or but all the time. And believe me, I have experienced playoff devastation.
Yes.
I mean, game
As an A's
5
fan,
losses.
for
I mean, they were up 2-0, I believe, twice on the road, and then lost the next 3 games. They've lost a bunch of wild card games. I mean, elimination games.
Yes.
I don't know. I honestly purposely don't remember what the elimination game record is because of how many times
really bad
I've experienced that in person.
Yeah.
Mind you.
Not great.
But here's my point, Chris. Playoff time. It's like standing room only tickets.
Mount Davis is packed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the part I don't get about this Rays thing. And when I was on with Whiting on Tuesday, his theory was that it's because they've expanded the playoffs. So like they care less about this opening round. But the playoffs is the playoffs.
Yeah,
when it's win or go home, Chris, that's
exactly.
when I tend to tune in.
Yeah.
And like as a baseball fan, as a kid, and it's, again, my interest in it has dwindled as the years have gone on. But like golf or soccer or tennis or any other sport, the big events, like the majors for golf and tennis or the playoffs for baseball, I'm interested. Why the hell weren't these people attending these games?
I don't got an answer because that's the thing I just couldn't figure out. Like
is there any theory?
I mean,
I
would just say the local interest just flat out isn't there.
But playoff time, you got to be interested, Chris.
I think that just shows how little the community there cares about that team.
So the stadium is not in Tampa. It's in St. Petersburg. It's about a 40-minute drive. Plus, the first game, the one that everyone's making fun of for 19,000, that game was played local time 3 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Well, I was watching the game in here yesterday. It was no better. I mean, the entire top like whatever their upper deck is completely empty. And even in the lower bowl, there was a lot of sporadic empty seats.
Yeah, I believe driving in, I heard Jason Ross said that they went from, what was it, 19,000 to 20,000 or something.
Which also those numbers are paid tickets. That's not people in the stand.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Radio station giveaways or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure all of it.
And baseball has a history of fudging the numbers when it comes to attendance.
Oh, yeah.
Well documented history.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of staying in Florida, I forget the guy, David Sampson, the former president of operations for the Miami Marlins, talked about how much they doctored the numbers in terms of attendance. And I believe the combo of the 2 games, Chris, was only more than one games of the other two game sets.
Really?
There was only one game where the combo of their 2 games.
So what would that be, like just under 40,000 people?
And there was only one game where only one of them.
Yeah.
It was more than. So that's pretty bad.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So I guess this all leads me to the conversation about Kapler. Were you guys on air when that broke? I think you were. I was driving home when that broke.
Yeah.
And Whitey.
I can't remember if it was Whitey or if it was. I think it must have been Whitey.
Yeah. I think it was you and Whitey when the news came down. And so Kapler getting shown the exit door. Now, I think he was kind of the scapegoat in this whole thing. I think you could look more at Farhan than you can at Kapler in terms of the ability to manage the team. But it just leads me, Bruce Bochy, 3 titles where, again, I would say, and we talk about this all the time, but the ingredients of what you can cook with versus, what the meal is when you put Bochy in all 3 of those years, being a Bay Area guy, which again, A's fan, not so much fan, but they were never the favorites to win the title in any of those even years. They always talked about even years, 2010, 2012, 2014. And so that to me is an implication on the manager of getting the most out of what he's dealing with.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't think Kapler, I mean, you look at their roster, there's not a bunch of guys that pop off the screen.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the thing is too, once they made the playoffs in those, 2010, 12, 14, their teams were a little bit also built for the playoffs. They had an identity. It was pitching and it was depth at pitching as well.
Bumgarner.
And to me, that also really helped.
He should go down. I know he's probably not going to make the Hall of Fame.
Right.
To me, you should make the Hall of Fame if your playoff resume is that good. He single-handedly won that World Series against the Royals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
no,
just
you're
a
fine.
side note.
No, I just to wrap a bow on it, I just think that's the thing that the Giants are severely missing on top of just overall talent is an identity. I don't think the Giants really knew, their identity was almost playing smart baseball. It was, Gabe Kapler using openers and using people, substituting in and out throughout the game.
Well, that was kind of the knock on them, is that the players felt like they were disposable.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and that's no player is gonna play their best when they feel like there's no human element to the game. It felt like they were essentially running the game off of computers, and it's really hard, I think, to gain trust of your manager and of your organization when that's how it is. And I think the big thing the Giants need to get to, I think first and foremost, and this is just for any sport, is you need to know what you're going to be good at. You need to have an identity and understand how to build the team around that identity. And until the Giants have an idea of what they want to look like on the baseball field, I don't think they're going to find success.
And also at one point, and I hate to keep hearkening on this, but when you had the A's, and I think the Giants, as you talked about, that Whitey told you that this is probably coming from ownership down through the GM to the coach. But you can play small ball and you can have money ball in the movie made with Brad Pitt and all that stuff. If you're in Oakland, you have a bad stadium and you don't have crazy attendance.
Yeah.
When you have a gem of a ballpark in downtown San Francisco, I'm sorry, you have no excuse to not be signing big names and to have a roster where people want to go buy. Who would you even buy a jersey of?
Exactly. No, exactly.
Crawford, who has officially retired.
He's pretty much done.
I mean, who else? This is not
Michael Conforto.
A Jock Peterson.
Sure. No, Peter. I mean, he's the highest paid player.
He's the highest
How about Rockland's Logan Webb, maybe?
Logan Webb would definitely be the one if you are going to buy one for sure.
Milo Duvall's the best closer in baseball.
Would be fun. Yeah. But even then, closers come and go.
But I mean, and I do think that they made a spirited effort to get Judge.
Yeah.
And I think they were
and
smart.
Correa as well.
Well, I think they were smart not to do the Correa thing, as the Mets proved also.
Right.
But in general, we have to be talking about names quicker than talking about, the closer and the starting. I mean, we have to have solid, Barry Bonds. We have to have the Panda, I mean, even when I thought they were overachieving, you had a bunch of names that you could point to. Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford, Well,
that's even just for getting fans back in the seats. I think that's kind of, I don't want to say that's step one, but that's a major part of this process as well, is getting recognizable guys.
I read that and they said, and this doesn't sound like a huge number. Does it sound like a huge number to you? It was 125,000 attendance less than expected towards the end of the year, which I didn't think would be a huge number mover, but I have no idea what the ins and outs are of baseball.
I think that's about 5% less than expected.
Yeah. But I mean, would that move the needle that much? Because it was a huge. They said that was a huge reason of why they're making a change at manager, which again I think could be a scapegoat.
Yeah, I mean, you lose games and people aren't going to show up. I think it's really as simple as that. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand for me there.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily. That's wild that they use that as a reasoning for why they fired the manager. I mean,
especially when we're talking about the Tampa Bay Devil race.
And if anything, that's the GM's fault. I don't think that's the man. Again, to point out which one came first, chicken or the egg. To me, it's the fact that maybe fans would show up if they had some marquee attraction to show up for, even when they're losing. But if you don't have any marquee attraction and you're losing, why would fans show up?
Coming up next, we plead the fifth, Fun in the 40s, Getting to Know You edition. I've got a couple of pressing questions, which I will have an answer to immediately. And I will probably answer first, so I give my partner some time to answer, as he usually takes his time answering it. We'll do that next. Zachariah, Chris Watkins, right here, Sactown Sports 1140.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Have you ever heard that phrase, less is more? Well, at Harbor Freight, We're all about more for less because we know you like to do stuff, to make stuff, to improve stuff. That's why everything in our stores, from miter saws to tool chests to cordless impact wrenches, is priced affordably. So get out there and drill, paint, and saw to your heart's content. We just ask that whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients meet us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
The City of Sacramento offers grass conversion rebates to help you replace your thirsty lawn with a naturally water-efficient landscape. Whether you own a home or business in Sacramento, you may be eligible. Learn more at sacwaterwise.com.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back, Sacramento. It is Zachariah alongside Chris Watkins. This is Sactown Sports 1140. You can join the program whenever you darn well please at 916-339-1140. Check us out on YouTube. We are live streaming, as the kids say. Just search for Sactown Sports. Coming up, top of the hour, Chris, the PM portion of your day. I'm going to tell you that your quarterback.
Mine?
Not yours.
Okay.
Actually, let's see where yours is. Not your quarterback. The people listening, their quarterback is 25.
Oof.
Yours is 13. According to
dang right he is.
One company. How could Brock Purdy be 25? We'll tell you.
I have no idea.
Top of the hour. How's that for a tease?
How is it?
But right now, do we have getting to know you music, Kyle?
Oh,
yeah,
he was ready.
Kyle.
He was ready for it.
Kyle gets an A+ today so far.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Getting to like you, Chris. Getting to hope that you like me too.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my first question.
Uh-huh.
And I've got a definitive answer, so I'll go first if you want me to.
Appreciate it.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Yeah, I'm gonna need time.
To me, there's only one answer.
Okay.
Okay, look, there's a bunch of answers, but for me, definitively, it's teleportation. Is that yours?
Sure. Yeah, after I thought I was gonna say flight because I was like, yeah, wouldn't it be great to fly anywhere?
Yeah, but that seems dangerous. I'd be afraid to fly.
Yeah, who knows what you're running into?
A bird could hit me, or
you could go into a plane propeller.
Yeah, UFOs are in the news. Yeah, invisibility.
Yeah.
Is on the list.
Good, but I feel like honestly, the practicality of like when you would use invisibility is like I don't know when would be like a like when would you could steal stuff from stores? You can be a creep if you want.
I mean, being invisible,
really
I guess, would be helpful in
benefits.
certain situations. But yeah, I can't really think other than a mischievous.
You could, I guess, like sneak up on, or hear conversations that you're not supposed to hear.
But teleportation, Chris. Because here's the thing: people say, "Do you like to travel?" And my answer is no.
Yeah.
But that's not the truth. I've been to Italy, I've been to Belgium, I've been to France, I've been to I've been to a bunch
you
of
like
different.
to be in foreign lands.
Exactly. But the actual method of getting
the
there,
18-hour flight,
horrific,
terrible.
I remember when I graduated high school, I was very stubborn, Chris. I didn't get into Cal or UCLA, and I was hell bent on either going to one of those two schools. I got into every other UC, but didn't go because I was hell bent on either Cal or UCLA. So I didn't end up going to college fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
I went to Europe with my brother.
Gap year. Love it.
And we got to France.
Ahead of the curve.
On the train in the middle of winter. And it was blistering, like a snow blizzard.
Yeah.
To the point where I had to turn my back to the blizzard. And my brother's 3.5 years older than me.
Yeah.
I just said, you figure it out. Like, we were staying at hostels. We didn't have any money.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care what we do, but you're doing it. So, like, the travel part is what I hate.
Yeah.
I loved, the Eiffel Tower.
Sites and all that.
You know what I mean? All like the museums. I mean, traveling is great.
Sure.
The actual act of traveling is awful.
It sucks. And
So
it's
my
not,
answer is teleportation.
It's not even just obviously traveling abroad is a huge part of teleportation, but for me it's even just like
from here to home.
Yeah, like here to home.
I'm with you.
It's like,
imagine if you could just snap your
That's what I'm
fingers
saying.
at 2 p.m. and you're on your couch.
Honestly, it doesn't even have to be like teleportation. If it's just I can like snap my fingers and black out, and it's just like I don't know. I'll be there when I wake up.
I hear you. And like traffic's the worst.
It's the worst.
Like,
I just don't like sitting there.
The only method of I have one method of transportation that I like, Chris. Can you guess it?
Bus.
Train.
No. Yes.
Yeah. Trains are decent.
No on college.
Trains are
great. You
They're
can get
underrated.
up, you can walk
Underutilized.
around.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like you and I were decently sized
Yeah,
people.
for sure. Especially on a train, you'd be perfect on a train.
On a plane, it's horrible.
It's terrible.
Like
especially
I see
Southwest, you're like, especially you're tall, so you probably got your knees up
6'5",
to your throat.
It's and then I see these people and they're like curled in a ball, like basically like they're in a hotel when they're on the plane, and I'm like, I hate you. I don't actually hate you.
Yeah.
I'm just jealous of you.
Jealous.
Anyways.
Yeah. That's funny. Teleportation definitely is the one. Though.
For sure.
Yeah, it's the most practical.
Well, does time travel count as a superpower?
Ooh,
it does count as a
I
superpower
like that.
for sure. And you can argue that you could utilize that for the same purpose.
Yeah, because I always say that, and then people say that doesn't count as a superpower.
No, that's definitely a superpower.
No, that would be awesome.
You're bending the space-time continuum. I would definitely say that's breaking the
Go
laws
back
of
in
science.
different eras. That would be incredible.
That's true. Yeah.
But that's kind of teleportation. Anyways, I'm sticking with teleportation.
Yeah.
All right,
It's a good
let's
one,
do
though.
this. Who knows you best?
At this point in my life, probably my girlfriend. Probably my girlfriend.
Sweet.
Yeah. I mean,
Shout
we've
out.
been together for 5, pushing on 6 years. So
Okay.
yeah, we've known each other, and we worked together before that. So she has a pretty good idea. I would like to say my parents for sure, but I just sometimes you can't fully be yourself, and I don't see my parents as much as I would like to. So
Understood.
I'll go with my girlfriend.
Okay. All right. That's a very sweet.
Who knows you the best?
My mom, for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
My mom is basically my therapist.
I mean, she listens every day, so she's
every day.
Yeah.
She tunes in all the time.
She hears all your thoughts.
She said, "I'm starting to break your barrier down."
A little bit, yeah.
She
for
thinks
sure.
that, in the beginning it was,
Yeah.
but she thinks that
Yeah.
you're starting to open up to me
Oh,
a
yeah,
little bit.
for
so.
sure.
And now that we both have teleportation
Exactly.
as a
The
common
world's our
ground,
oyster.
we're good to go. Do you know who your first crush was?
Like celebrity crush.
Or it could be like a student.
It was Stephanie in kindergarten. No, let's see. I feel like the one that really sticks out is Hillary Duff. Like when I was like a kid. I mean, she was on Disney Channel. And
Okay.
like I feel like I was also very much vindicated in that. Hillary Duff is looking great these days. So,
Yes.
I'll say. I'll say Hillary Duff probably when I was like a kid. She was Lizzie McGuire days.
Okay, so I'm going to age myself a bit here, as I do frequently with you, as you're the youngster
I know.
amongst us. MTV days.
Yes, absolutely.
Jenny McCarthy.
Okay.
There was a
Unfamiliar.
show called Singled Out.
Jenny McCarthy.
She ended up dating Jim Carrey for a long time.
Okay.
Anyways, when Singled Out came out, that was like when I
Okay.
had cable and TV, and like she wore this yellow outfit, and it was just my
Oh, okay.
Jenny McCarthy. Not even usually. Anyways, Jenny McCarthy. But my number one celebrity is Jessica Alba. Always will be.
That's not a bad one.
She's numero uno. And I saw a meme, which again is aging me. It's like, if you were like young in the late 90s and the early 2000s, you had a crush on Jessica, and they showed her in like all those.
1,000%, for sure. I was just watching her Fantastic Four movie the other day, and I was like, she was in this role. Sorry, Jessica, don't mean to demean your acting skills, but it was just because she was just absolutely
like Honey. Was it Honey? She
Yeah.
did one kind of reputable role, but in general, I love me some Jessica Alba. Okay, final one before we go to the break.
Yes, sir.
If you were in a band, Chris, which instrument would you play?
Now, is this like I've learned this instrument? Like part of this is I
you're
now
the best
am a
at
master
all
at
of
it.
them.
Okay, gotcha.
But you're only going to play one.
Which one can you just like style out the most? I would probably either say trumpet, because I don't know why, it just seems fun to just like you just throw your head back and
shout out
really
Louis
let
Armstrong.
that thing go. Yeah.
Very underrated artist.
Or just drums. Who doesn't want to be a drummer? You know,
That's
you
my
just
answer.
bang that thing out.
I'm
you
Tommy
can
Lee.
lose your mind.
Absolutely
Throw the
drummer.
sticks, flip the sticks.
Plus, they hold less. Like if you mess up, nobody really notices.
Except for the band. The band's the only
Well,
people.
they'll be mad
They're
at
like,
you.
bro,
But
the
who
rhythm
cares?
is just completely shot.
But in terms of the crowd, if you play the guitar or you're singing, they're going to notice. If you're the drummer, it's
Well, and who doesn't love a drum solo too? Like you can really rock it out. And it feels like you're in the back too. So if you're sitting, you're not.
That is so disrespectful to drummers. You're just like, they're doing whatever they want back there. It's just a lot of skill.
No, I mean, like, it's not saying they do what they want, but like you're able to have the most flair
can
when you're
improv more. It's
like,
a compliment, Kyle.
Yeah, you can flip the
Don't
sticks.
the Muppets do crazy drum stuff? I mean, we
don't
all know
see
it's
any
crazy
guitar
back then.
people like
Exactly.
throwing the
Yeah,
guitar
you
around
can't
their
let
neck or anything.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
the
all.
expert guitar players of the Muppets.
No, the drummers, they go crazy in the background. Anyways, all right, well, that was fun getting to know you. Coming up, top of the hour, 49ers. And I will tell you, 25th? How many quarterbacks are in the NFL? 32, right?
Yes, sir.
More than that, probably, that have played? Probably like
At this point,
38 or something?
35, 38, yeah. Something
Anyways, you're Brock Purdy. You're undefeated Brock Purdy in the 20s. How? Why? We'll tell you next. Chris Watkins, Zachariah, right here, Sactown Sports, 1140.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award?
Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Joel Embiid said today he's informed USA Basketball he'll be playing for Team USA during the 2024 Olympics in Paris. In football, Chicago plays Washington tonight on Thursday Night Football. If you wish to partake, we have coverage of the game beginning at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. In baseball, all 4 wildcard rounds ended with sweeps. The 4-division series begins Saturday with Texas versus Baltimore, Minnesota versus Houston, Arizona versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Philadelphia against Atlanta. Remember, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. And now, good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter. Let's get back to more of Chris and Co. here on Sactown Sports.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916, Sactown Sports.
Welcome back, Sacramento, to the PM portion of your day. Thursday Night Football. He is Chris Watkins. I am Zachariah, Sactown Sports 1140. You excited for this game tonight? It's kind of a bleh thing.
No. I can't even fake my excitement. Bears Commanders. Sorry. Doesn't really do much of anything for me.
Yeah, it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
The great QB battle of Justin Fields and Sam Howell we'll be telling our grandchildren about.
I got to be honest, though. Not that those guys are good.
They're not.
They're interesting.
In their own unique way, sure.
Like, could Howell be a franchise quarterback for the Washington franchise?
Sure.
I refuse to call them the Commanders.
Yeah.
Justin Fields all over the place. He looked really good through 3 quarters.
Yeah. And then not so good.
But, like, is that because he's not good or because the organization's not good? I don't know. Yeah. I think it'll be interesting. I mean, it's football. We're all going to watch.
Yeah, we're going to have
Let's
to watch.
be honest. Fantasy implications, all that good stuff. But right now, if I told you to tell me in the, let's just call it 32, even though how many have played? 33, 34, 34 have played. Well, let's just call it 32 because there are 32 teams.
Sure.
Where would you place Brock Purdy? You personally, Chris Watkins. Forget all the stats.
Yep.
Forget what anybody else thinks or says. Forget about the win-loss record. Forget about the numbers. Just you, Chris Watkins.
Yeah.
You have Purdy where out of the 32 teams?
I would say just as a quarterback, like universal situation. Like we're not saying
everybody has the same playing
situation.
Field.
Gotcha.
Yep. Same offensive line, same running back, same coach, same wide receivers.
Okay. I think Brock Purdy should be around 16, like around league average. I think at this point he's climbed, and this is without me doing the exercise of going person by person by person.
Of course. I'm just throwing this at you.
But it feels like, I mean, if he were to start the season, I would say justifiably so as a, hey, we saw some promise from you last year, but I think you would still be near the 20s, just because of the unprovenness of what Brock was. I think at this point he's moved towards league average, and I don't think that that's necessarily. I don't mean that as a criticism. I think that that's him ascending, and it's just going to be the ongoing process for him. Is where does he fit? Because I haven't seen enough to think that Brock Purdy at any point is going to be one of the top 8 quarterbacks in the NFL. I just don't see that elite talent there, but. Even saying he's middle of the road, saying he's average, I think is an upgrade on where he was to start the season. So I'd put him around 16.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's fair. I'm going to throw some names that are around. So what I'm talking about is a article for the NFL rankings for the Ringer. Shout out Bill Simmons. I'm not the biggest Bill Simmons guy, but I do think that he created a niche that everybody should be in awe of in terms of
crazy.
Well, just him him basically his initial name was the sports guy.
Yes.
The Boston sports
Right.
guy, I think at some point. I don't know. But he basically just created an entire empire out of just being a fan, which I salute and admire.
Absolutely.
Certainly in what we do. But if I throw the names out that are around there.
Okay. Around 16.
You said 16?
Yeah, just because that's literally middle of the road.
That's fine. We'll start there.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson. Would you rather have Purdy under center or Russell Wilson?
I'm sorry, Brock Purdy.
Okay. Ryan Tannehill.
Brock Purdy.
100%. Daniel Jones.
Brock Purdy.
100%. Derek Carr.
Brock Purdy.
100%. Mac Jones.
Brock Purdy.
Okay, so let me go the other way then, because I was going down.
Okay, so that's like
I'm sorry, I was going 16,
down.
17 through 20.
Sure.
Okay, let's go up now.
So then that I feel better about my 16 now. Okay.
Oh, for sure. No, I think that was very solid. It pretty similar to where I would have him. Now, this is Joe Burrow at 15,
Sure,
but that's not really fair. This is with the calf injury, obviously.
I mean, if we're saying like to this day, if that's what this rankings are,
I would take Purdy over Burrow. Yeah.
I think at that point Purdy needs to be like, we're talking like top 10 possibly.
Well, let's see. Jared Goff, because this one's tough for me.
Yeah, I mean,
and not just because I'm a Cal Bear.
Kyle, you can play the cut now. I mean, Jared Goff he's been playing.
Yeah, what's your
good.
whole history with that?
You were quarterback that is Jared Goff.
And you were being sarcastic.
I was.
Gotcha.
I very much was.
You're not a golf believer.
It's just, I mean, he's okay. Like, I think Jared's totally fine, but the way that people were talking about the Lions in the preseason was these guys are about to take the league by storm and win the Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
And I was just like,
I'm not huge on golf, but I do. I mean, I recognize
as a Cal
that.
guy, are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, I am. But what I'm saying is he did bring the Rams to the Super Bowl.
Yes, absolutely.
And I do not think that this is where it would be a struggle for me is the guys that I'm going to list to you. Goff is tough between him and Purdy, and then Kirk Cousins. Your guy is at 13.
I'm taking Kirk. I just am.
Okay. And then for some reason they have Kyler Murray and Tom Brady at 12 and 11, which doesn't make any sense. One guy's hurt and one guy's retired. Sorry.
Wait, is that a joke?
Hey, this is from the website.
No, I'm looking at it as well. Tom Brady is and it says Las Vegas Raiders. Do we not know something?
Well, he owns a part of them, which I think
Sale's not official. He can come out of retirement still.
Okay. Well, the caption says keeping a place for him just in case.
Okay.
And then with Kyler Murray, he has everything you want in a franchise quarterback except for size. So anyway, to go back to players that are actually playing.
Yeah. Imagine how disrespectful that's got to be for like Mac Jones, that like Tom Brady's retired and he's ahead of you.
Or Kyler Murray, who's known for watching video games and not like reading the playbook.
Kyler Murray does have more career Pro Bowls than Matt Stafford.
He's also hurt. Anyways, so then it gets into the top 10.
Yeah.
And this is where you said that you might vault Purdy in there
If we're talking about right now, his play as of today so far throughout this season.
Yeah, in terms of the names that I read. But here's where I think you're going to start to draw the line.
Yeah.
I think you said you'd take Kirk over him.
I would take Kirk.
And you're probably not going to take Jared, but it sounds like he's at least in the vicinity.
I would definitely think about it. Those two are kind of a wash.
Burrow, Murray, and Brady I throw out because one's got a calf thing, one's got a torn ACL, and the other one is literally retired. But okay, here's where we go top 10. Jalen Hurts at 10.
No, I mean, I got to take Brock Purdy over that just because.
You would?
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. No, I would not. I'm sorry. I don't know why I even said that.
It's okay.
No, I did it just for.
It would have been great radio if that's what you thought.
No, I'm taking Jalen Hurts over it just for the dynamicism. That's not a word.
But, and then Tua. Tua's at 9.
I'm not a big Tua guy. To be
No,
honest with you, I'm really not.
If
I
he
think
keeps his brain intact, he's a damn good quarterback.
he is a really good quarterback. I'll give him the edge just because I think he throws the deep ball better than Brock. But I still feel like I feel like not enough has been made of Tua and the talent that he has surrounding him.
Of course,
it's been.
But that's
made
the same argument
talking.
about Brock.
Well,
though,
that's
right?
what I'm saying. Is
Brock has Kyle, and
absolutely
McDaniels was a Kyle disciple.
100%. I just don't feel like people use that as a crutch to try and bring down Brock Purdy, but at the same time they don't use it as a thing to try and take away from Tua.
Because Tua had the Alabama thing, right? Won the national
well, that's what it
championship,
comes down to is
made Jalen Hurts transfer.
Yeah, absolutely.
To Oklahoma.
I mean, he's almost, in terms of story wise, he's the complete opposite of Brock Purdy. Like, he's a guy who's had ultimate college success and was a huge name coming into the draft, and Brock Purdy obviously quite literally last pick in the draft. But if we're just talking what they've done in the NFL, let's not forget, like Tua before last season, he was incredible last year before the concussions. But before all that, there was a lot of questions about whether Tua had what it took to be a quarterback. And we can't forget also, he's a really small guy as well.
Well, he took judo in the offseason.
He did, yeah. No,
he learned how to fall.
Knows how to fall now.
You know what I'm saying? And then we have Geno Smith at 8.
I mean, yeah, how Geno's playing now, sure, I'll take Geno, but I still am not completely convinced that Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback. That's kind of crazy.
And we'll save more of this for the 1 o'clock hour.
Okay.
We'll do the top 5. But just to round out 7 and 6, Dak Prescott, Sunday Night Football, the matchup. Dak versus Purdy, Sunday Night Football. Would you take Dak over Purdy?
Kind of a wash there, especially with how Dak's been playing. I guess I'll take Dak because of the size, but I realistically don't think there's a major difference between the two.
Okay. And then Matthew Stafford.
I like Stafford. I think Stafford can sling it, and if you put a ton of talent around Matt Stafford, I think he can do more with his arm talent than Brock Purdy. So I'll take Matt Stafford.
Well, just to go back into where we started for all the Niners fans listening, Brock Purdy, according to the Ringer, a very reputable organization, has him listed in the 20s.
Right. And that's hilarious because we've been talking about him top 16, and even then I just took him over some top 10 guys.
Well, the number, I mean, the guys and the numbers ahead of him, Russell Wilson at 16, Ryan Tannehill at 17. Talk to any Dolphins fan. They'll tell you Tannehill. Not good. 18, Daniel Jones, who everybody's talking about. That might be the worst contract in football. Derek Carr, who got run out of Vegas or Oakland prior to that and has happy feet. Mac Jones, who,
no thanks. I mean, his career looked washed. If there's no way Brock Purdy looks as bad as Mac Jones did last week.
Yeah,
there's no way.
And certainly Deshaun Watson's ceiling has looked higher than anything that Purdy's done. But as of right now, I wouldn't put him above that. Jordan Love.
How on earth do you have Jordan Love above Brock Purdy?
I think he's going to break the streak of Green Bay quarterback dominance. Then you have Anthony Richardson at 24, and then you find Brock Purdy at 25. And we'll do the top 5 later, which I think we're probably all going to unanimously agree should be above.
Right.
But 25 is just a full blunt for a guy that they're lightweight talking about being an MVP candidate and a guy that's undefeated and has literally not lost a game that he started and finished. I mean, that's got to be a slap in the face.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm looking at the list now, and just if we were to tier it out and just say, like, who are the guys in Brock Purdy's tier, you're telling me that this season, if we're just talking off production of this season, Jordan Love, Anthony Richardson, who just finished his first full NFL game last week, Jimmy Garoppolo, Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields, and Sam Howell are in the same tier as what Brock Purdy has done. Are you? No.
Well, I'll tell you
that's
this.
just ridiculous.
If any Niners fans or Niners personnel or any coaches or players are out there listening to our voices right now on these airwaves, Chris, I think, I mean, we are the home of the Niners.
We are.
You print this out.
Bulletin board.
Exactly.
That's exactly.
Put that thing in the locker
in his
room.
locker. No, put it in Brock's locker.
Oh, I
right
like
there.
it.
This is what they think.
You're going to go straight to his locker.
Hey.
In the very least, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, I have no speech. My speech is just this article.
Yeah.
It is, hey, Brock, 25. Dallas Cowboys. Let's go. And then I could just see the whole locker room going crazy.
Going nuts. I mean, there's just no way.
25. Give me a break. Disrespect, if you tell me. Coming up next, we will get into JaVale McGee. You're telling me, Chris, that he's already proving to be a great veteran?
Oh, yeah.
And also some WNBA movement.
Big news.
Coming around.
Big
and also
news.
There's a bunch of stuff from Media Day that we have not gotten to, as that is the gift that keeps on giving, including Wemby, the number 1 overall pick. I think they shattered records for the Summer League in terms of ratings, Chris, when Wemby showed up in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But he had 5 jobs overseas. At least, I think.
What?
5 that I counted, I think.
Who let that happen?
Could be more. Chris Watkins, Zachariah, Sactown Sports, 1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned him down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift and be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Hi, it's Brian Bennett from Bennett's Restaurants in Roseville and Sacramento, and our newest restaurant, Bennett's West Side Grill at Rockland's Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. We believe in serving the freshest handcrafted foods in a warm, convivial setting. We have a fantastic happy hour featuring shareable plates, wine, priced from just $6. And get this, we feature happy hour 7 days a week, 2 to 6 p.m. So grab a friend and come in and have some fun. Bennett's Kitchen Bar Market, Eureka and Lead Hill Rose in Roseville, and Bennett's American Cooking on Fair Oaks and Howe in Sacramento. Speaking of our newest restaurant in Rockland, we feature live fire grilling over mesquite wood. We are smoking our own salmon, chicken, and cheese. You have to eat it to believe it. Want an iced seafood platter? West Coast oysters, Dungeness crab, wild Mexican prawns, Bering Sea, snow crab claws. Look no further than Bennett's West Side Grill. Find us on the web at bennettsrestaurants.com and book a reservation today. Eat well, stay well, and remember, Bennett's is where you'll always receive a hospitable welcome.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Is this the intro music to the former Mets closer that got hurt?
Yeah.
Why did you pull this out of
because
nowhere?
Chris
How
Watkins,
did I even know that?
Chris Watkins said that he would be a great trumpet player. Remember?
I see what
this is Chris jamming out on the trumpet right now.
Welcome
This
back.
isn't even music from the library. This is just Chris playing
me.
live on air.
This is me right now. I can only talk right now as the trumpet's not playing, but once the trumpet plays, obviously, that's me going.
Welcome back, Sacramento. He is the fantastic, famous trumpet player, Chris Watkins. I am Zachariah,
Trumpeteer.
the drummer in the background, just making stuff up, ad-libbing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we are Sactown Sports 1140. I can't believe I even knew that was the intro to the Mets closer.
Well, they made it like a really big thing.
Oh, was that like nationwide? I'm not weird for knowing that.
Yeah, that was viral.
Yeah,
that was like non-sports viral.
Yeah, it was like everyone was like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life," and I was like, I mean.
It is pretty cool.
It's cool. It's definitely.
I think the guy did it live at one point.
Yes, he
in the
did.
stadium,
Yeah, I think that's what ended up going viral. Is the dude actually showed up and played the trumpet.
They also had the video where he's like behind Diaz, like Diaz is running out as the music
And it looks
crescendos
so
too.
sick. It's like with a 4K camera. I'm surprised you didn't say violin. We played the violin earlier.
I know. Well, I thought you were going to go with that. I'm just the drummer in the background making noise.
Look at this punk rock band. We got a violinist, a trumpet.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we roll. You know what I mean? And then the Mets spent like $9 billion on Scherzer and Verlander, and then he got hurt, the closer, in the World Baseball Classic, and then the whole Mets season went to bye-bye.
Well, he'll be back next year.
Well, and Buck got the can.
Did he really? Oh, I didn't see that. No, I didn't.
And he announced it.
He retired.
No. He basically said he got kicked to the curb.
Yeah, but they were being kind about saying.
Fair enough. But he was the one that announced it. They didn't even come out with he had to go to the press and tell them, which I thought was in bad taste, but whatever. I don't know how we got into random deep dive into Mets talk. But yeah, right now, JaVale McGee. Now,
JaVale, we need to get that cut. We need to get Shaq. I know JaVale probably doesn't like it, but every time we say JaVale McGee, in my head, I just hear Shaq going, JaVale McGee.
Shaq and a fool?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Is that like the intro to it?
No, it's just, I mean, there was like I don't know, it felt like a 10-year period where essentially Shaq and a Fool was the JaVale McGee show, where like he was, like it got to a point where I believe JaVale and Shaq are like not cool because JaVale felt like he was pretty much making a joke of JaVale's career.
Well, I was just going to say, shout out Roger Clemens when he had the steroid press conferences with Congress. I don't know why Congress is putting money into figuring out whether or not baseball players took steroids, but I believe he used the term misremembered. When he was talking about a conversation with one of the steroid dealers or whatever at a party. I misremembered. But if I'm misremembering or not, you can tell me. I think JaVale McGee's mom stepped in.
It wouldn't surprise me.
And like told him on like
stop picking on my baby kind of thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise
But you're
me.
saying to this day Like they haven't buried the hatchet?
I believe so. I mean, it was pretty like it was.
It was a whole segment dedicated to making fun of JaVale McGee.
Pretty much. Like it was borderline like cyberbullying. Pretty much.
Well, I mean, shout out him, much like the villain, Dylan the villain, him kind of redeeming himself.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know,
Anytime.
I mean, JaVale McGee ended up becoming like a, world champion.
Yeah, three-time. Three-time.
And
Come on.
Look, you can't teach that kind of height, that kind of athleticism.
No.
And yes, he did make a bunch of bonehead mistakes
Funny
on the
things
court.
happen,
But I mean, if you just isolate that for anybody,
Yeah.
anybody could look bad. Like you could stumble walking into the studio and they could go, "Oh, he's a doofus."
This guy, can't tie his shoes.
Yeah, 98% of the time, Chris Watkins is like totally
All
normal.
good, yeah.
Anyway, so it got isolated, but yeah, there we go. I'll play it. That's it. No,
That's
McGee?
all I have right now is the JaVale part.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's hear from the actual JaVale McGee and why he is already proving to be a great vet.
What was your message to the group here at the end?
Just focus on the little things. We have a habit of sometimes some guys can have a whole conversation with a guy while the drill's going on, and then when it's his turn, just go and do what he has to do. Because some people don't have that skill to be able to multitask like that. So I was just telling him, you got to realize who you're talking to, because you might be messing up the next guy who's trying to make the team or something. And you talking to him, you should do this, you should do that, and then he missed the drill. Now the coach see that, and it's just a trickle-down effect. So you got to know who you're talking to, and you got to focus on the game and just focus about the little thing.
What was your message?
Interesting.
Yeah, and I've never in my life heard anyone say anything.
Neither
like
have I.
But I mean, and that question came about because as they were breaking down the huddle to end practice, and then guys go over to media, Mike Brown called upon, I believe it was De'Aaron Fox, to kind of just close out with a message, say, hey, you guys keep working like that. This is, whatever, day 1 of 100, whatever you want to say. And then JaVale kind of broke in at the end, and, with media, you're kind of in the corner and they're on the other side of the floor, so you can't fully hear exactly what you're saying, but
gotcha.
You can hear, or you can see that JaVale was talking. And so, Jason Anderson asked him what exactly he told his team, and that's what he told him, which is, again, like I think that's just proof that JaVale's showing, or not proof, but I think that's JaVale showing his worth already day 1 of training camp. Like, again, that's not something I've ever heard anyone say, but it makes so much sense. Like you never know. People learn differently. And
true.
The fact that, if you're talking to someone thinking you're helping them, you could actually be completely distracting them and ruining their rep. And to JaVale's point, like that one rep or a continuation of bad reps can lead to somebody losing their job. And that's just not, that's not something that anybody wants. There it is.
Yeah. And it sort of points to just attention to detail.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
he's basically
That's
like,
so true.
you would think that something that came from that where you'd be like, oh, that's like really intuitive. You would think that would be more of like a bigger picture thing.
Yeah.
And this is way more smaller where he's saying like, look, you could be trying to give a guy advice and trying to help him, but you could actually be hurting him. So make sure that you're careful in terms of the timing of when you're giving. Even if you're giving good advice, you could be giving it at the wrong time.
Exactly.
And that is proof of how far he's come from probably his earlier.
He was probably one who was talking.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
He was one who was maybe distracted by talking.
Might have been speaking from experience.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just not something, again, from experience, it's just not something that a lot of guys will know to say. And I think that's, again, just proof that JaVale's been in some winning organizations and some winning systems where I would imagine that that's just something that he observed from being with the Lakers when they won in the bubble and being with those Warriors teams with Kevin Durant is just the level of attention to detail that the greats have. That's what sets them apart is they try and it's a cliche. It's kind of corny, but you got to try and truly win every single rep because especially in an environment like training camp where everyone's kind of involved and there's just a lot being thrown out there. You got to be sharp at every single time. And every rep is potentially, incredibly important. And I think, it was really cool for me to hear JaVale say that. And on day 1 of training camp, I just think it's a really good sign that signing is already kind of paying off.
Yeah. And I think for a roster that we talk about ad nauseum being so young, having a guy, I mean, it's kind of crazy because of Shaq yelling out JaVale McGee and Shaqtin' a fool or whatever to think about him being sort of like but I mean, really on this roster, he is kind of assuming that role. And when I heard this sound, Because again, walking away from it, you'd be like, what? He's telling people not to give them advice when it's in the middle of the drill because a coach might see it and it might mess up their like on the surface, that's not really something. But if you look at it deeper, it reminds me of Anthony Edwards and his time with Steve Kerr, where I forget who he was talking about, not his agent. Players have so many people in their lives, so I don't know if it was his agent or his manager or his whatever, whoever it was.
Whatever.
He basically said he got back from a practice, and Kerr didn't even rip into Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Oh yeah, that's cute," like kind of dismissive, talking about how hard he was working because Edwards was trying to like tell Kerr like, "Look how hard." He's like, "Yeah, you should see Stephen Clay."
Right.
You know what I mean? And like he walked away from that going, I thought I was ramping up everything. Like, I'm sure what he was doing was way more than anything that he had been doing with Minnesota.
Right.
But even Kerr was like dismissing it, like you have no idea where you can actually get to. And that's kind of what this boils down to, where it's like, you know, even if you're trying to help your teammates out, recognize and understand when and where you're doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
is like there's levels to this. And I think that that's something that he can probably bring to what would be otherwise a very inexperienced King squad.
Right. No, absolutely. And when you're, you know, the other theme of training camp was really turning. Okay, it's Harrison Barnes talked about it yesterday and said Mike Brown's been talking about it a lot. Going from bad to good is, he won't say easy, but it's not the most difficult thing. The hard thing is going from good to great.
Yeah.
And I think that's more what JaVale's getting at as well is if you guys, okay, like it's good that you guys are talking and again, communicating, trying to better each other throughout the drill.
Yes.
But if you want to be great, then you need to let every single person on this team focus as much as possible during their reps so that, again, they can maximize the opportunity that they're being given.
And you can have that conversation after the drills are over.
Right.
You know
exactly.
what I mean? You can give all of that stuff at a time where it's not going to take away from what they're doing. And to his point, what the coaches are seeing.
Right.
They might see it as like, you know, you're slacking off or you're not paying attention or you're not dialed in.
Hey, stop talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the teacher in class.
And it's the little stuff like that. Again, like I saw a lot of that as I joke with you, but I do it kind-heartedly. But when, you know, watching the run on YouTube, there was a ton of that where I could almost feel, and Kings fans are not going to want to hear this, and I'm not even saying that it's what the players or the coaches thought, but you could almost get a feel like, okay, we're coming in here. We're going to break this stupid streak that we don't need to talk about anymore in terms of not making the playoffs, but we're changing the culture here.
Yeah.
But it was almost like year one was just like gravy. Like we're trying to put all this stuff in. So even though they didn't advance in the playoffs, and of course you want to win the championship every year, it was almost like they knew going into it, we're implementing it this year. And that's why I think a lot of the stuff that you and Whitey got from Media Day is that, okay, that was the first year we were implementing all that. We were changing the culture, and now this is year two. What are you going to do with it?
We're going to run with it. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have other stuff we still have to get to. I've been teasing this all day. I swear I'll get to it. But Wemby says he had 5 jobs overseas. We're going to figure out what those jobs were. Also, WNBA coming to the Bay Area and Portland. What? Expanding? Good for them. I got a story on the WNBA that'll be very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll save that. And then, coming up next, we will talk about, could the MVP for the NFL go to CMC? Could it be a non-QB?
We'll have to see.
As I keep just using letters to describe my T's. Zachariah, Chris Watkins, right here, Sactown Sports, 1140.
JaVale McGee. Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
I want you to want me.
Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville presents Cheap Trick Live.
Saturday, October 21st. Get your tickets now at goldcountrycasino.com. Cheap Trick, October 21st at 8 p.m.
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has a selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and, and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is underway. Frankie Cardicelli and Brennan Nunez have been out at Golden One Center covering camp. You can read their news and notes right now at SactownSports.com. In football, Chicago plays Washington tonight on Thursday Night Football. If you wish to partake, we have coverage beginning at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. And in baseball, all 4 wildcard rounds ended with sweeps, and the 4 division series begins Saturday with Texas versus Baltimore, Minnesota versus Houston, Arizona versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Philadelphia taking on Atlanta. Those are your headlines. Let's return to more of Chris and company right here on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
The show in between the show is always the best stuff.
Always.
Welcome back, Sacramento. He's Chris Watkins. I am Zachariah. This is Sactown Sports 1140. Coming up at 1245, I swear to God, I'm going to play this Wemby sound. Said it about 15 times.
Jobs does this
It's going to happen at 1245. I assure you. We're going to have fun in the 40s. We're all going to plead the fifth together. Yeah. But right now, big game, I hear. I don't know if you've heard about any sort of big games. We're going to look ahead to week 5 later in the show. But for the only game that most people listening to these airwaves as they drive around doing their thing here in Sacramento or beyond.
Wow, Zachariah, you're so excited about Titans Colts this week. Wow.
We are. And not only that, Thursday Night Football tonight.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big matchup.
Bears.
But the big game.
Commanders.
The big game is a rivalry, which is kind of weird. I'm trying to think. I'm doing this all on the fly, so forgive me. Usually I'm prepared for stuff, but
Yeah.
right now I'm doing this on the fly. What other big rivalry is there out there where they're not divisional opponents?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because I feel like Cowboys-Niners is a huge rivalry.
Yeah.
But one's in the NFC East and one is in the NFC West.
Yeah, I'll have to peek at some logos.
Are you saying
real quick.
historically or just recently? Because like Bengals Kansas City has been a huge rivalry, but only in the last 2 years.
Oh, okay. I was like, I feel like that's not a rivalry.
Yeah, maybe Lakers Celtics.
There's some contention there. If we're going
Lakers,
across all sports,
Celtics.
yeah, for sure. Lakers Celtics.
Used to be Brady Manning.
Brady Manning.
Because I think
to an extent.
Dodgers Giants, right? But
Right.
they're both in the they're in
same
the
division.
NL
Yeah,
West, yeah.
usually if you play a team a lot of times, just by nature, you're going to be rivals. But
Yeah.
it's really tough for teams that
when I say Cowboys
Niners.
Niners,
yeah,
and maybe it's just me being myopic because I'm 40, but I think Deion switching from Cowboys
sure.
to Niners, winning the Super Bowl in each year. I think
Yeah.
about Aikman. I think about Jerry Rice and Steve Young. I think about them needing to get over each other to win the Super Bowl. I think of that as a huge rivalry, and they're not even in the same. I think about them as more of a rivalry than I do
any
Cowboys,
of the other division,
or Cowboys Eagles,
right?
Or Cowboys Reds, or Cowboys Washington franchise.
Yes.
But you know what I mean?
Yes,
and I'm just trying to
absolutely.
think about any sport, football, baseball, basketball, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of other times where you see a big rivalry where it's not an actual divisional opponent. Anyways,
Celtics Lakers is probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
Outside.
But
of
that's
that,
also that's like finals, right? And that's
Right.
where
Well,
Magic
that's
and Bird saved the NBA.
Right.
And
if you're not going to be in the division, I mean, that's mainly where you're going to meet up and have stakes be at the highest and fan interest at their highest is for championship or bust. But I mean, it is to the greater point of what you're trying to make. It's very rare to have two teams that aren't in division have them have some real rival. And I think it's a very real rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, Kyle correctly mentioned the Manning versus Brady stuff. That was very real, but that was also
That's pretty good.
That was 1-for-1.
Patriots,
That was a little bit more narrative based, and it feels like this is real. Like the fans are into it. I think the organizations understand it, and there's also real recent games that can speak to the rivalry itself. Of course, it's been pretty one-sided recently, but even so, the matchups have been in the playoffs. And again, I think the fan interest is really the big thing that drives it.
Well, also, I think it's kind of embedded also with the fan bases. They're they're both teams that have fans in areas that are not in their area. You know what I mean? Whether or not they're people from the Bay Area that are Niners fans, they might have just grown up on Montana or Young or whatever later down the line. And then same thing with the Cowboys America's team, which I hate, up there with Danny Dimes for me for annoying sports cliches.
Also, Mike on the phone line says 49ers Raiders was a pick.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
That's just Bay Area.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for really any local teams
It would
playing
be
each
like
other.
if
Like
the Sonics
Yankees,
were
Mets,
still in Seattle, it would be like Blazers, Sonics.
I mean, it was bigger than that. But
so what would you say to Yankees, Mets?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Cubs, White Sox?
Or even Giants, A's.
But that's just, for me, that's more of a geographical thing.
Sure.
Than it is actual franchises.
Sure.
You know what I mean? How much history have the Niners had with the Raiders in terms of...
So your specific question is due to on the field or on the court matchup.
Because the Cowboys and Niners have played each other so many times in the playoffs, it's almost as if they play in the same division.
Yeah.
So anyways.
NBA Bucks Celtics right now is doing pretty good, or Bucks Heat, but those are recent things.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the feel though.
Actually,
Celtics Knicks, I guess.
I think the only one that I think that we've said is Celtics Lakers.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that I can think of. And even that's not even the same, let alone division, not even the same conference.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, but yeah, big game Sunday night.
Big game.
I'm sure you're going to be tuned in.
Big game.
We all will be. Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah.
Should be a good matchup. I think I haven't even seen. We're not supposed to talk about
the
Nevada,
spreads and all that stuff. If I had to guess, let me guess here.
Yeah.
Guess the line.
See, I got a buddy who thinks that because, you probably know this because I think that you don't take yourself too seriously. But I have a buddy that because I do sports broadcasting, thinks that I'm like an expert.
Yeah.
So he calls me for advice to, have fun,
yeah,
if you will, on Sundays. And I'm like, dude, you realize I don't know anything more than anybody else knows. I mean, I'm more involved in it. But what I like to do is rather than tell him what to do, I have him tell me what the matchup is and who's playing whom and where, and then I guess what I would think that the line would be, which is why I love that you're saying, let me guess the line.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Now, this game is in Santa Clara, correct?
Yes, sir.
I would say Niners -4.
Wow.
I would bet they're 4.5.
Dead on.
Really?
I would accuse you of cheating, but I've known you long enough now where I believe you. That's exactly it. And you know that they say you get a field goal just for being at home.
Right.
So they're calling this a little bit more of a big. I would comfortably. I would have guessed if I mean, now that I know, it's hard for me to say it, but I would have guessed larger than that. I don't think that I don't think the Cowboys and the Niners are a 1 point difference in terms of quality of squad.
I think that the Cowboys beating the Patriots the way they did last week definitely made that spread a lot closer.
Yeah,
it's
and
probably
maybe the
more
Cardinals
close to
game
6.
was a wake-up call or something, and they're adjusting to not having Diggs. But the Niners, man, they're literally laughing about not knowing, and that brings us to what the tease was.
Right.
CMC for MVP. They're joking about nobody knowing. The head coach didn't know. He said if I was told in the middle, I would have got peed off.
Yeah.
So that's why people don't tell me stuff like that. But if I had known, I would have let him go for 5.
Yep.
Trent saying that he pulled out the 3-iron. But if he had known that it was his 4th, he would have pulled out his 4-iron in terms of their touchdown celebration.
Oh, okay.
CMC not even remembering if he's ever had 4 in his entire career, which I find hard to believe. You're telling me in Pee Wee football, Chris, that he didn't have like 17
had
touchdowns,
7 or 8 for sure.
And then the quarterback. It's like, oh yeah, that's cool. I didn't even know. He was too busy talking about his 1 incompletion. I don't know. To me, that team and just the way that they're handling themselves and the way that they're playing on the field, Chris, is head and shoulders. Again, as the kids say, there's levels to this.
Yeah.
The Niners are on a different level to me than the Cowboys. So I would think it would be more than just the field goal that you usually get for having home field advantage.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that the Niners have shown this year to be the class of not only the NFC, but frankly the NFL as well. And it is surprising that they have it that close, but you also have to remember with betting lines, especially, a big part of that is where the money is going. And with the Cowboys having a massive fan base, you point out the fact that this is a big rivalry. That's prime for people to put money on their team. And, they got to make it close. They got to try and eke out as much money as possible. And so there's going to be people who, like you, are going to say, what, 4? The Niners are going to beat them by 10, 15 easy. And so, they got to try and find a perfect number to where people bet on both sides.
Well, tomorrow is Fun Friday, so we will do our rankings, top 5 teams, bottom 5 teams.
I like it.
But you know me, I'm the king of the 22-hour tease.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to tease it, but I'm going to ask you for, I feel like I've seen pretty much unanimously across the board, Niners are the number 1 team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Dallas, again, I'd have to look. I'll look at all the different rankings from the different reputable sites, but Dallas is nowhere in that realm and can fluctuate from a high number to a low number. Again, I just think, and again, the Cowboys might win this game. And I will still walk away not feeling any differently about the San Francisco 49ers because I think the Cowboys are going to treat this like it's their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think the Niners
go home and think about it because you've gotten this into my head now, and I feel like that I feel like I agree with you so much that I'm like, is this just because we're sitting across from each other and I'm trying to be agreeable?
But it makes a lot of sense. My face. He said that if they lose decisively to the Cowboys, that they're going to pick a lot of nits with the Niners if they lose this game.
Yeah, but to your point, what you said earlier, like that's more of a micro thing. Like, they're going to say, oh, like maybe Brock Purdy can't do it in big games or whatever. But I think the macro conversation still stays the same as even if the Niners, let's say whatever. Yeah, let's live in this world for a minute here where the Niners lose 40-0, like the Cowboys beat the Giants in week 1. Yeah, I mean, clearly we're going to have some things to say because if the Niners get blown out like that, it's not nothing.
Of course.
At the end of the day, I don't think I'm going to readjust my 49ers can make the Super Bowl thoughts because they lose to the Cowboys. I would just probably bank it even more so if they get blown out as just, that was a really, really bad day for them and just something that was completely uncharacteristic.
And to that point, let's say that this was week 18 or what is even the last week? It's week 18 now, right? Okay, sorry. I'm adjusting to all the different names and the different weeks and all that good stuff. But if this was week 18 and the Niners got blown out and then they matched up in the first round of the playoffs the following week, the Niners would be favored.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We'll see. And look, again, I think Dak addressing that in the press conference right after saying you're peeing me off, and I think Jerry Jones is saying everything goes through the Niners, but hopefully they get through us or whatever. Like that's what's making the headlines, Chris.
Yes.
And you're not hearing anything from Purdy or Shanahan about the Cowboys. You're hearing about the Cowboys about the Niners.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyways, coming up next, fun in the 40s. Wemby had 5 jobs. The number 1 overall pick had 5 jobs.
That's ridiculous.
The sound that I've been teasing for the better portion of 3 hours. We'll get into.
It'll
next.
be worth it.
Zachariah, Chris Watkins, Sactown Sports, 1140.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL?
Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hustle up. We've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you, and the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. Did you know that a solid poo, yeah, it's one of the best indicators of your dog's gut health? We're talking about Supreme Source Super Premium Dog Food, the fastest growing premium dog food in the country. Family owned and operated for 50 years. 6 interchangeable recipes packed with protein and powerful antioxidants. Get it Safeway, Save Mart, Smart and Final. Learn more at SupremeSourcePet.com. Do their digestion a solid, literally.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports' IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com and sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's film at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
The City of Sacramento offers grass conversion rebates to help you replace your thirsty lawn with a naturally water-efficient landscape. Whether you own a home or business in Sacramento, you may be eligible. Learn more at SacWaterwise.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Yes, sir. Welcome back alongside Chris Watkins. I am Zachariah. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
I see what you did here, Kyle.
What did he do?
This song is called Tyler Hero. Is it not? Is this Tyler Hero?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I was like,
By Jack
I don't
Harlow.
frequent Jack Harlow music, but I know he has a song.
Honestly, I don't know if I've heard this song more than like 3 times before, but it's a good joke.
That'd be pretty tight if you had a song.
A song after you, yeah. It's like one thing to have like, you know, your name dropped in a bar or something, but like to have like the Mo Bamba song and like, you know, Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
That Mo Bamba song is now like a stadium anthem, isn't it?
Yeah, they'd be playing it at like every Saturday. If you listen to college football, third quarter, you know, it's like the start of the fourth quarter. People just be yelling it. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about all these college kids screaming this song at the top of their lungs.
All right, coming up, top of the hour, and we will get into Tyler Hero here just in a second, because that is a fascinating situation, in my opinion, how that's all going to work out. And, of course, Wemby having 5 jobs. But at the top of the hour, we did, as we told you, Niners fans, you should be upset. You should be offended. You should be standing outside with a picket sign. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Picket sign.
Why would they have a sign of the Steelers quarterback?
Hey, now.
They have your quarterback, 25th, behind a guy that is fully retired and Tom Brady.
Significantly bad.
And a guy that cannot physically play in Kyler Murray, and also a guy that is hampered dramatically, physically, in Burrow. But yeah, 25th, we didn't get to the top 5. I think you and I found a nice little spot of where he should be, because as I went lower, we agreed that Purdy should be higher, and then as we got higher, there was a couple of guys that maybe could be below Purdy. But 25, I think we can all agree, is completely ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
So we'll get to the top 5 of the quarterbacks coming up, top of the hour. Big game, Cowboys and Niners Sunday Night Football. Is Taylor Swift going to be there? Or wait, is that only Chiefs games?
I don't know.
Taylor Swift's going to be in your stomping ground in Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota.
Is that confirmed? Have we heard that
no,
officially
no
yet?
confirmation.
Okay.
But good for us for getting to 12:48 without talking about
almost 3 hours in.
Have you seen the numbers, though?
I have.
The only reason why I've brought it up, I don't normally take the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But the numbers, like what she's doing, and the fact that Mark Cuban's saying break up with Kelsey and come date a Maverick because he wants a bump in his numbers. I mean,
it's so
the
weird.
Swift effect.
It's crazy.
I heard about this like months ago when she was on tour, and there was like political figures that were trying to call in favors to get tickets and could not.
Yeah, could
not.
Mm-mm.
And I mean, like for me and you, like, being able to get a press pass to go to the game is kind of cool. You know what I mean? But like for like a senator not to be able to get tickets anyways. So anyways, we'll do the top 5 quarterbacks and why your quarterback is ranked as 25th. It's funny because I shouldn't give away the segment, so I'll save it for the top. But the reasons why he's 25th is not even really reasons of why he should be crazy. But Wemby, he is a needle pusher. Speaking of the Taylor Swift effect, Wemby, number 1 overall pick. They're comparing him to a combination of Shaquille O'Neal and Kevin Durant mixed with Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. I'm making some of that up. But he's probably, I think Woj said, not only the number 1 prospect in NBA history, but in sports history.
Team sports, yes.
So we're talking like even when John Elway got a perfect grade from Mel Kiper, higher than that.
All of it.
Well, here is his assessment or recounting. They were asking him, how is it different now being in America playing for the NBA versus when you were overseas?
It's changed from my days in France for sure, because I got to worry about a shit ton of less stuff. Last year I wasn't just a player; I was also a GM. I had to make sure the floor was clean before we had to practice. I had to make sure my teammates were lifting. I had to make sure of a whole lot of other stuff. So now I'm really more free.
I would imagine so.
He made sure the gym was clean?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a rookie duty.
Okay, so for the job, I got janitor,
janitor,
or whatever you want to call that.
Yeah,
maybe,
whatever.
Caretaker
Custodian
of the courts. Yeah, there you go. I have trainer.
Yes.
He said he had to make sure that his play, and then he had to play.
Yes.
So player and a member of the organization.
Yep.
So it sounds like he was. Do you buy that? I mean, I guess
I don't know why he would lie about it.
So I cut the full clip, but you know how we joke about like, oh, LeBron's a shadow GM or Kevin Durant's a shadow GM? He says in the full clip, it was like part-time general manager too, because he had to like convince players to play for Metropolitans 91.
Yeah, see, okay, look, I get that. I get that here. In terms of like, if you're LeBron, that the GM, I don't know. Did you and I fight over this, or was it no? It was me. It was me and Emil and Kyle. We fought on Monday about whether or not they ran the trade for Holiday and Dame by Giannis. They say, as reported, they didn't run it by him. They ran it by him. Anyways, I get it. Like in the NBA circles, like if the Lakers are going to make a major move, they'll go to LeBron first, maybe run it by him. Maybe not like actually get his full blown permission, but at least gauge the temperature.
Sure.
But in his, I mean, he was at the top. Granted, France basketball is not like NBA basketball. So I guess I can understand it, but I find it hard to believe that your star player of your star league, even if it's a watered down version compared to the NBA, is doing stuff like making sure that the floor is clean before they work out, Chris.
Yeah, that's crazy. That to me is the one where it goes a little bit too far. Like I can believe
making sure his teammates were working out.
I can maybe understand that. It's just like, hey, you're the leader of the team holding your guys accountable. Yeah. Even then I would argue that's not his job, but I could understand that. But yeah, sweeping the floor, especially being whatever 7'8" or however tall they want to make Wemby. Can we just have somebody else do it? Like, can literally anybody else except for the guy who could, the most valuable guy on the franchise. Can anybody else sweep the floor?
Yeah. I mean, look, Chris,
I understand he's a young guy, 18 at that time. But like, there's got to be somebody else who's lower on the pecking order.
I'm just guessing it's less of a huge entity that we kind of make it out to be. Like, we have the Kings in our back door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, we know the level of excellence that's expected, and maybe he was just totally dumbed down over there, and that's why he was doing that. It's like, look, Chris, I love working with you, but I'm not going to call you and say, hey, Chris, can you make sure that you have an opinion on Brock Purdy being 20? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll run some articles by you. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, do you want to have this guy as a guest? Yeah, you know, something like that. But I'm not checking in with you to the point where it's like he made it sound like he was literally the janitor for that place. So
that's ridiculous. That's incredible.
But let's do this fun in the 40s, as it is fun that the WNBA is expanding.
Yes.
Coming to the Bay Area and to Portland, Chris.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
And I've heard some people clamoring, why doesn't Sacramento have a WNBA team?
That's the question of the day for sure. Yeah. I mean, especially if you're going to put it in a place like Portland. I mean, Sacramento is pretty much almost exactly the same media size. And I know Portland had a WNBA team way back. I don't think it was the Portland Thorns, I think is their soccer team, but I think it was something like that.
Monarchs, right?
No, the Monarchs were here. That was Sacramento. I'm talking about in Portland.
Portland Thorns is their NWSL team.
Right. Okay. So I know they used to have a WNBA team like in the early 2000s, but I just feel like the Sacramento Monarchs have a history. They won a WNBA championship. I thought that, initially, when Vivek was first buying the team, a part of the pitch of buying the new arena was, we're going to have an NBA team here. Eventually, we're going to try and have a WNBA team. And then
you've seen that in a lot of different areas. You've seen that in New York. You've seen that in Phoenix. I mean, a lot of times that's like a byproduct of it. And my story about the WNBA, this is going to sound like an insult. I swear to God that it's not. But at one point, the WNBA went to David Stern and they threatened to have a lockout. And he said, okay, well, I'll just completely disband the WNBA.
Yeah.
Because he was like, we're not making any money off you. If you guys want to boycott, then you won't have a league. And they immediately revoked that threat. But I'm saying this as a compliment in the sense that how far it's come now, the WNBA, just me personally, has been way more on my radar this year.
Yeah.
And it's kind of down to 2 teams, but that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's how it starts. How the NBA started is with Celtics Lakers.
With the yes, and with Vegas and New York, which I believe they are in the finals,
yes,
right?
They are. Yeah,
and
play Sunday.
But they've been on my radar all year long, and it's like super teams and all that stuff, which you could say for the middle class or the lower class of the league is not good. But in terms of it being on the radar, in terms of it being of interest for the common person, it's fantastic for the league. And the fact that they're expanding, I think, is a byproduct of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's why when people have been asking, and I understand why they ask, and it's kind of a sports radio conversation, but if they ask why are super teams good for the WNBA, I push back on that. I think that it's great for the WNBA just for that exact Lakers Celtics example is exactly what I say. Like, the NBA was tape delayed. The finals were tape delayed before people had the wanting.
Man, you're aging yourself now.
To watch the.
You weren't around then. Yeah,
I wasn't.
I mean,
it's and that's what the WNBA needs. That's what the NBA needed to really take off. The WNBA needs a similar thing where it might not be good, as you mentioned, for the middle class of the league that most of the talent is on those two teams.
But you got to think big picture.
You got to think big picture. You got to think what this series could potentially do for the WNBA in terms of interest. I think women's basketball in general is on the rise, as we saw Caitlin Clark pretty much outperform the entire Final Four, the men's side of the Final Four in terms of ratings.
Yep.
I think that it just needs attention to it. And then once they're there, once people are watching the game, they'll understand what makes the WNBA its own separate entity. It's not the NBA. I don't think they try and be the NBA, but it is its own entertainment value. And I think people just need to give it a chance. And once they give it a chance, they'll see that it's all still basketball and it's all still entertaining.
And I am honest to a fault. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I am some hardcore WNBA fan, but I promise you, I will be tuning into the finals between the Liberty and the Aces.
You definitely should.
Because that was kind of what they had hyped up in the beginning, and then they got there.
Yeah.
So
I'm telling you, the environments are incredible. The play is incredible. And frankly, Ryan Ruocco is incredible on the WNBA call. So I cannot wait.
For sure. All right, coming up next, Niners fans, you should be offended. You should be appalled. You should be disgusted. All of the different words that you could use to describe your quarterback, your undefeated quarterback who has not lost a game that he has started and finished. 25th overall, behind a guy that's not even in the league? We'll discuss much more of that. Plus, Jerry Jones kind of shaking in his boots a little bit. We'll do that next. Chris Watkins, Zachariah, Sactown Sports, 1140.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hi, it's Brian Bennett from Bennett's Restaurants in Roseville and Sacramento, and our newest restaurant, Bennett's West Side Grill at Rockland's Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. We believe in serving the freshest handcrafted foods in a warm, convivial setting. Our restaurants are roasting hand-selected prime ribs of beef every week on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and all prime rib specials come with your choice of homemade soup or a fresh green salad. And as many have found out, we also pack these dinners to go. Order online at bennettsrestaurants.com. Having a meeting or large group dinner? Our newest restaurant in Rockland features 3 different event-sized spaces for large group gatherings. 80 guests, no problem. Bennett's Kitchen Bar and Market, Eureka and Lead Hill Roads in Roseville, and Bennett's American Cooking on Fair Oaks and Howe in Sacramento. And our brand new Bennett's West Side Grill at Rockland, Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. Come let us put a smile on your face and enjoy our hospitality. Find us on the web at bennettsrestaurants.com and book a reservation today. Eat well, stay well, and remember, Bennett's is where you'll always receive a hospitable welcome.
Hustle up. We've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you, and the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial #250 and say Boost Infinite.
Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
Get ready for the ultimate online auction experience. TMC Auction presents an exclusive event October 7th and 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., giving you a preview of top-notch items to elevate your construction projects. Bid on TMC Auction October 10th in Roseville for unused mini excavators, shipping containers, forklifts, construction tools, floor scrubbing machines, scissor lifts, toolboxes, and major brand appliances, all with warranties. TMC Auction, the name for unbeatable deals. Join our virtual auction extravaganza at tmcauction.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is underway. Our guys Frankie Cardselli and Brennan Nunez have been out at Golden One Center covering camp. You can read all their news and notes at SactownSports.com. Joel Embiid said today he's informed USA Basketball he'll be playing for Team USA during the Olympics in Paris this coming summer. In football, Chicago plays Washington tonight on Thursday Night Football. If you wish to partake, we have coverage of the game beginning at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. Reminder, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Let's return for the final hour here on Chris and Company.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Oh, you know the way to my heart, Kyle. Tupac, greatest artist of all time, any genre. I will not take any argument to the contrary. Sorry. Welcome back, Sacramento. I mean, anytime I hear this music, it brings in a feeling from me. You know what I mean? I think it was 96 when this album was released. I got a good story on that. Anyways, welcome back, Sacramento. He is Chris Watkins. I am Zachariah. We got 3 hours in the books. We got one more to go before we have crosstalk with Whitey and Draper at 1:45. We got some good stuff at 1:30. More stuff from Media Day, the awkward situation that I believe is going to be Tyler Hero and his situation with the Miami Heat and removing his shooting guard for the Miami Heat from his Instagram. That's what the kids
love
do
when that happens.
You know what I mean?
I love he took this out of his bio. Oh, he erased all of his pictures
that had him wearing the jersey or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to 2023.
I know, yeah.
Chris, you know what I mean? 916-339-1140 is where you can be heard or read. You can check me out on Twitter. I'm at Zach Sports, ZAK Sports. He is at Chris M. Watkins. And at 1:15, you, my friend, did an excellent job covering the Kings and all the players and the GMs and the coaches and the broadcasters and you were just ran the whole
Sorry we had
gamut.
to cut you off.
That was fine. I was totally okay.
It was crazy.
Whitey apologized like 50. I'm like, Whitey, it's all good, brother. I'm just like, I just got in my car.
Yeah, you got to leave early. Yeah,
you got me from exit to exit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was just listening to all the coverage. But one of the ones that I guess we have not aired.
Yeah.
Officially.
The only one.
Jordan Ford,
Yes.
Sacramento's own.
Yeah.
So
Folsom Lake Ford.
There you go. Exactly. Got to get some sort of plug in there. Yeah. That'll come up at 1:15, and then we'll do a little Olympic talk after that interview. But right now, Niners fans, be offended, be appalled, be upset, protest. Do whatever you got to do.
Make some noise.
But be upset about this. Your quarterback, Brock Purdy. There's a lot of different names for him.
Yeah.
Much of which we cannot say on air. I think, we know BCB, whatever. But I think Papa said Big Brain Purdy.
Okay.
BBP. Because he likes the way that he makes adjustments at the line when he calls audibles based on seeing what the defense is doing. But the Ringer.
How about Big Brain Brock? I guess that's too hard to say.
Oh, yeah, BBB.
Yeah.
Big Brain Brock. Maybe that is what he said. I might have messed up what Papa said. Shout out to Papa. He was there when I was in my infancy stages of doing radio. So if I messed up his name, I think he said
Big Brain Brock is a lot tougher to say. So I can understand why Papa might not go there.
Okay, so again, I asked you if you were to just all things are equal, best quarterback in the NFL, and I think you and I are around the same number, whether or not you want to make them like 9 or make them 13 or something like that. What did you officially say?
I said 16, but when we started to go through the list, and the fact that Tom Brady and Kyler Murray are in that list is like, it kind of throws off the numbers a little.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, 13, 14 is...
Yeah. Either way,
around right.
Either way, we're not talking 25, but that's what the Ringer would tell you. Would you like the breakdown, Chris?
Yes, please.
Don't call Purdy a game manager.
Okay.
A system quarterback? Sure. But even that may misrepresent his game. Purdy provides a playmaking jolt to Shanahan's clever play designs, but it sometimes comes at a cost. He'll throw into tight windows, go into scramble mode, miss out on an opportunity downfield, and hold on to the ball for an eternity. Purdy's irrational confidence hasn't been punished by defenses. Big word coming here. Ready for it? Yet.
I knew that.
If anything, it's been rewarded, and he's been accurate enough to take advantage of Shanahan's play calling. But Purdy will take the next step when he dials back on the aggressiveness without sacrificing too much of the playmaking instinct that has helped him earn the starting job in the first place.
I don't know if I agree with that breakdown.
Well, even that breakdown, and this is kind of what I was teasing going into this segment, I don't see many insults in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the big knock on him is that he's too aggressive.
Yeah, he'll throw into tight windows, but he kind of makes the throws because he doesn't throw turnovers.
That's the knock on Josh Allen, who, like you said, is turnover prone and is number 2 on this list.
Yeah.
So that's not even like a huge knock. I think it goes back to, I think it's why you and I are more reasonable and dialed back in terms of like understanding where he could be at his absolute peak.
Yeah.
I don't think you and I think that he's Mahomes or Josh Allen or any of the guys that would be closer to the top 5, but you cannot knock him for dealing with what he's got. You know what I mean? Yes, he has a great coach who dials up great plays. Yes, he's got a dynamic, I would argue, the only person I would break the bank for in terms of the running back position in his backfield. Yes, he's got Debo, who can play running back and wide receiver. Yes, he's got Trent, one of the best offensive linemen ever. Like, and he's got a great defense. I didn't even mention the defense. But I'm not going to hold that against him while also understanding that I would have him lower on the list of reasons why the Niners are good.
Well, and my thing is like also, why can't those things be true, but we can still evaluate Brock as an individual? Like, I think you can still individually, like it's football, like you can individually point out what Brock does that might help or hurt that said talent. And I think for the most part, the only legitimate real criticism that I'll hear about Brock is, I mean, sometimes he's not the most dialed in. Like, again, in that Giants game, he had a couple balls that were up for grabs, and his receivers played.
But even that was a compliment. They're talking about his surgery might have made his arm stronger, and that's why he overthrew the guys, Chris.
Strong now. I mean, and that's really the only legitimate criticism that I'm willing to hear, because he's been great with. And the thing is, too, is we see bad quarterback. Like, again, tonight's matchup. I'm not saying Sam Howell's
on these airwaves. This is must watch.
Must
Chris.
listen.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, must listen. Yeah.
I'm not saying Sam Howell has played poorly, because I think Washington has been one of the more impressive teams in this. Yeah, for sure. But Justin Fields has been outright bad. Zach Wilson's been outright bad. Daniel Jones has been bad this year. Like, there's been a lot of quarterbacks that have had bad performances.
And you take Purdy over all of them.
Yes. But for some reason we would, but in this, and I think that's where the frustration stems from us with this ranking that he's 25th, is the fact that it's just he's played good. He has played good, and there's tons of quarterbacks that have actively played bad. Like, I'll list some guys in front of him. Derek Carr has played poorly this season. Ryan Tannehill has had.
There's no way you're taking Tannehill or Carr over Purdy.
There's
I'm sorry.
No way.
They must have some sort of like bias against the Niners or something. I don't know why you would do that.
The bias is that he has too many talented teammates, but it's not it's not looking at what he's individually doing. They're just
what's he doing with what's he got?
They're giving all the credit to everybody else, and Brock doesn't get any of it. And it's just it's not fair to him. It's just it really isn't. And I think I understand why 49ers fans would be upset with this, because it's just this is malpractice. This tells me who is Steven Ruiz, I believe, wrote this. Like, to me, you're not, and I don't know Steven's situation. I don't know if this is a guy who grinds tape all day, but to me, I don't believe you're watching the games if you realistically have Brock Purdy as low as what you do in this. Or at least you're not watching the 49ers games at that, because I don't see how you can realistically watch the 4 49ers games that they've played this year and say, this has really been a lot of everybody else. I'll hear you on the Christian McCaffrey thing. Christian McCaffrey has been incredible, but the throws that Brock has made to Deebo Samuel, to Brandon Ayuk this season have been incredibly impressive. And I don't understand how you could demean Brock Purdy for getting the ball to his playmakers, where it hasn't even been in the sense of what I think you would think. Traditionally you'd think, oh, he's getting them the ball in space and they're going. Brandon Ayuk's had some deep balls. Deebo Samuel had that beautiful deep ball that Brock Purdy threw him in a back shoulder throw. Like, I don't think people are giving this guy enough credit for what he is individually doing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's more meat on the bone. Mr. 22-hour tease.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do this tomorrow again, because we didn't even really get into who are in the top 5. But I think the best way to do this exercise, and again, the way they break down the pie, timing, accuracy, creativity, arm talent, decision-making, and pocket presence is the way that they have decided this grade. Everybody has their own thing, Pro Football Focus or whatever. But I think the best exercise to do is I give you the quarterback, and I put them instead of Brock Purdy, and who would you rather have instead of him?
Yeah.
Because I think we both agree you could make the argument for top 10, but certainly not top 5, but definitely not 25.
Definitely not.
That's a full-blown
100%
slap in the
not
face.
25.
And
That's
again,
ridiculous.
we've already written up the pregame speech.
I know.
For Shannon. You just print out this
We got
article,
it.
you put it in his locker, and you're good to go.
You're
All
good.
right. Coming up next, Sacramento's own Jordan Ford. Fantastic interview with Whitey and Watkins interviewing Jordan Ford from Media Day. We'll play that, and we'll talk a little Olympics. You're listening to Zachariah, Chris Watkins right here, Sactown Sports, 1140.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Nice enough to join us. How often did we talk about him this summer? You know, I think they should sign. I think they should bring him in. Yeah, he's having a great camp. Jordan Ford.
Oh, yes,
hello.
sir.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good. How proud are you of the way you played this summer, knowing the opportunity that was there for you?
Oh, I mean, super excited. It's definitely the opportunity I feel like I needed. Just to show all the hard work that I put in. Not just this past summer, but my whole life. To go in the summer league and leave it all out there and get the opportunity I needed. And it led me to where I am today right here. So
And play a great point guard, knock down some shots as well, right?
Yeah, definitely got to do that.
It's this has got to feel like, this entire summer has got to feel crazy. I mean, who would have thought would have happened? Was it hard to not let go of the dream these past couple of years? I mean, you've been grinding, you've been playing overseas, playing in the G League. Did it at any point feel like this day might not ever come back?
You know what? I've always believed in myself and my journey.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't going to be something that's easy. And, just spending 3 years in the G League, it really just helped me just focus on my journey. And it taught me a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talent in the G League as well. And I feel like it really got me ready for, the NBA style of play.
Yeah.
So, I'm super excited.
Yeah. How special is it to wear that uniform being from this area?
Oh, I feel like it's every kid's dream, growing up, being from Sacramento.
You probably literally in the playground or wherever you were thinking that, right? Jordan
Literally,
Ford?
literally on my little Nerf hoop, trying to root the Kings on. And, I mean, to be able to play for my hometown, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah. What does it mean to you personally to kind of pave the way for Sacramento ballers? I mean, there's not really many NBA players who end up coming out of Sacramento. What does it mean to kind of be an example for all those high school kids or kids in the AAU circuit in Sacramento? What does it mean to kind of be that example?
Oh, it means everything to me. Just, for people that have been able to watch me growing up, and just to let people know that it's possible to come out of Sacramento and,
right.
To follow your dreams. And if you want to become an NBA player, there's a route to do that. It's going to take a lot of hard work and dedication. And hopefully I've set a good example for people that want to do that.
Jordan Ford with us here in Sactown Sports. Obviously, you got a lot of coaching, a lot of advice on your way up. Is there one piece of advice that maybe you look back, and maybe there's not, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but one piece of advice where you think, man, that was the best advice I got that maybe you can share with young players who also, aspire to do big things someday?
I would say the equation for everybody isn't the same. So, being a smaller guy, that's less athletic. Wingspan is not super long. It's going to take a lot more work to get in the position you want to, if that's to become an NBA player.
Work on that ball handling, huh?
Definitely work on that ball handling,
Yeah.
working on that perimeter shooting. But it's going to take – the equation is different. Like for somebody that's maybe 6'10", the equation is going to be a little different. You're going to have to work a lot harder, maybe twice as hard. And yeah, if that's something you want to do, I think you should definitely fully pursue it.
Yeah, but as a smaller player, there's no substitute, right? For you got to have the handle. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have a complete game. Definitely got to work on your ball handling, your shooting. You got to find tricks and things like that to get around the bigger players in the NBA. Maybe it's a floater or whatever that is. So, yeah.
I know from a couple friends that I grew up with that you came up in the Sacramento AAU circuit, and just in general, how do you feel like the state of the Sacramento basketball circuit kind of is? Do you feel like it's still growing? Do you feel like it needs some help in being lifted up, or where do you just kind of feel like the state of Sacramento's hoop scene is?
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's some really good players that come out of Sacramento, but also, I also feel like what I've noticed watching from afar is that players sometimes they might be really good in Sacramento. They might go play somewhere else.
Right, they'll transfer to prolific prep or something. Yeah.
Exactly. And I've always just been a fan of, finding a program within your city and trying to make it work there. And, yeah, that's just how kind of I am. I think there's no better feeling than, playing in your hometown and, letting the fans come and watch you as a local product.
Yeah, Jordan Forden, nice enough to join us. We know that there's a long ways to go before the season starts. A lot of things got to be figured out. But give us a look at this roster through a point guard's eyes. What do you think of all the various options a point guard has here in this Kings offense?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. We have a ton of shooting. It's going to be – they're going to make my job really, really easy. If I touch the paint, I don't always have to shoot it over the big. I could just kick it out, and we have shooters everywhere, and people that are just really, really talented on both sides of the ball. So
you got a center that you could run the offense through if you want to.
Right. Oh man, yeah, hit him right in that pocket. Let him do his thing, and yeah, I'm super excited to get to know these guys, their playing styles, and get to work with them the rest of the year.
Being on the two-way contract, how do you approach like the Stockton part of this, where you're traditionally when you're in the G League, you're trying to get noticed by the NBA, you're going to try and put up big numbers, but as the point guard of the team, it's kind of your job to orchestrate things. How do you kind of balance what you're going to try? You still want to show the game you have, but also your job as the point guard of that team. How do you just kind of balance that out?
I think it's the same as it was last year. Just make the right play,
right?
Whether that's to score the ball, whether that's to pass the ball, just make the right reads, try to make the right play. Your job as a point guard is to kind of orchestrate it and learn when you're supposed to score, when you're supposed to pass. So, my job as the point guard is to control the pace and just make the right play.
Yeah. Keep playing basketball.
Yeah.
What gives you more joy? Perfect pass for an assist or knocking down a shot?
I would say a perfect pass. Definitely gives me, if I put it right in the money and somebody knocks down a three, to help a teammate out to score, that gives me a lot of satisfaction. Yeah.
During the summer league, Coach Luke Laux talked about this practice where Keegan Murray allegedly just went ballistic. I think he said like 16 or 18 straight points. Were you a part of that practice, or just what was it like to watch Keegan during summer and him kind of explode onto the scene the way he did?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I can't name the exact practice because it felt like he was doing it every practice. It felt like he was doing it every practice, and the game it carried right over to the games, and it was just super fun to get to know Keegan a little bit and. To just pass him the ball and let him do what he does, make shots. So yeah.
I hope you don't mind. We actually started this summer. We were calling you Folsom Lake Ford because we're trying to get you a deal there, some kind of endorsement there. So I hope that's okay.
That's
I don't know
cool with me. I'll take it. I'll take the endorsement.
Get your agent working on that.
Let's build that up.
Are you a football fan at all?
Oh, I'm not much of a football fan. Sometimes I will watch the 49ers play. if they're on, but I'm not too much of a football fan.
I was just going to ask you which quarterbacks you think would make good point guards. So Brock Purdy, what kind of point guard do you think Brock Purdy would make?
Is that the quarterback for the 49ers?
It is. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I can't even speak on it because I don't watch
basketball. He's a basketball player. Yeah, my bad. My bad.
What are your personal goals for this year? I mean, again, on the two-way contract, do you have any numbers you're trying to reach, or is it just kind of continuing to grow, whatever that may look like?
I definitely don't like to put like a cap on what I want to accomplish, but my goal this year is to just learn as much as I can, take as much in from the coaches, from the players, and just learn as much as possible. And yeah, I would say that's probably my main goal. And then just to obviously being a point guard, I love to win. So whether that's with Stockton, whether that's with Sacramento Kings, both of our team's goals is to win a championship. So that's definitely my goal.
Jordan, before we let you go, and we appreciate your time very much, were there Kings players you saw growing up that did you have a favorite? Anybody that you patterned your game after in any way?
I love watching Jason Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, he was just just the pizzazz he brought to the game. I loved watching him. And, just that team with Mike Bibby, Chris Webber, Vlade, Peja, Doug Christie, Bobby Jackson. I was pretty young, but, I just remember it being an exciting time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And it's another exciting time, isn't it?
Definitely. Definitely.
Right. Jordan Ford, we appreciate your time. Best of luck this year.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Fantastic interview, Chris. My one question is, does Mr. Ford work for the Ringer?
No, he doesn't. Why? Why is that?
Just to tie in.
Oh, because he doesn't.
Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I mean, he probably knows as much about Brock Purdy as what the Ringer does. Apparently,
it was such an innocent answer.
I know.
He was just like, "Is that the quarterback for the Niners?
Is that quarterback for the Niners?"
That's gotta humble you, right? If you're Brock and you're driving around, Northern California, and you hear the guy go, "Is that the quarterback for the?" Yeah, you should know the quarterback of the 49ers.
It's like crazy to me that. I mean, because obviously we're like engulfed in this sports world, but like it's just nuts to me that people are just able to have that stuff just totally isolated, completely ignorant from it.
And some lean into it. Like you'll see Braun, he commented on, he'll comment on other sports and stuff like that. And there are people that consume all of it.
Oh yeah,
but there are totally guys that literally do not know who the quarterback is for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah,
which is crazy to hear on air.
It's just so weird to hear because it just feels like a thing that whatever. Yeah, it just feels like a thing that it's just common knowledge. And especially for an athlete, I think there's this assumption that athletes just love sports and they love to watch sports and it's all they care about. And that's
actually more like
perfect reminder.
It's more like acting and musician and athlete. Like they all want to be each other and know about each other. But when it comes to like cross-pollinating sports, if you will, it does not happen often.
Right.
Like I believe that 100%.
Oh yeah. No, that he was not lying at all.
and what a great story. Homegrown kid. I mean, we'll
Especially
see how
for
much
this
we
area.
actually see him. Yeah, but for sure, he should be a draw. And definitely, I mean, kudos to him. He put in the hard work to put himself in that position. And great story there. Coming up next, we will put a bow, as that was Media Day. We'll put a bow on the rest of the Media Day. We talked about who the winners were, but also the very uncomfortable. What do you really do when somebody tells you they don't want to be with you, but then you have to be with them? It's got to be awkward, right? Tyler Hero, the Miami Heat, and much, much more from Media Day. Zachariah, Chris Watkins, right here, Sactown Sports, 1140.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA 3 Weather Center, and this afternoon expect sunny skies with light winds coming from the north anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. We are looking at temperatures warming into the 90s with a forecast high in downtown Sacramento of 92 degrees. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is the best place to go all in and all out. Go all in at our table games, then go all out to win on the area's only 3-story indoor kart track. Or go all in for our famous award-winning buffet. Then go all out at our state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and beautiful resort hotel, you can go all in for fun and all out for comfort. We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is underway, and our guys Frankie Cardicelli and Brennan Nunez are out at Golden One Center covering camp. You can read all their news and notes along with player interviews at SactownSports.com. Joel Embiid said today he's informed USA Basketball he'll be playing for Team USA during the 2024 Olympics in Paris. In football, Chicago plays Washington tonight on Thursday Night Football. If you wish to partake, we have coverage of the game beginning at 4:30 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and the Sactown Sports app. Reminder, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. It's time for the final half hour of Chris and Company here on Sactown Sports.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Welcome back, Sacramento. Alongside Chris Watkins, I am Zachariah. Sactown Sports, 1140 a.m. on your dial. You can call and be heard, or you can text and be read. 916-339-1140. I haven't even checked. Oh, by the way, we are live streaming on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports. Haven't even checked it yet today. Here we go.
The YouTube chat?
Yeah, they usually talk about what they're going to eat. Good morning. How are you, Emmy? Eating breakfast. Nice. Glad you're getting better, man, because you're the man for it. Stocking up right now. Breakfast for me is some halva today.
Sure.
Is that Greek?
Emmy said that?
I want to say it's Greek.
Who said that?
Emmy.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. She's Bulgarian. So
Halva? Halva? I've never had that. Is it
Never
good?
heard of it.
I prefer Zach. Oh,
hey.
I didn't even mean to read that. That was totally on accident.
Crazy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
That's
crazy.
I swear that was innocent.
Wild
You're not going to
coincidence.
believe me. That was totally
Wild
innocent.
coincidence.
2 of my favorite dishes are there. Hey, Dwayne.
I got love for the boy.
Anyways, you can jump in the chat on YouTube. Coming up at 1:45, we will check in with Whitey and Draper. Draper usually kind of gets Hollywood around crosstalk time.
You better watch your tone.
Calling out names.
Okay.
He stood me up a couple of times.
Hey.
I don't know if it's me.
Probably.
I mean, I know that Carmichael Dave thinks that Emil does not like him.
Really?
Because he won't do the
Really?
crosstalk. When I've gone on with Emil, he won't do the crosstalk.
Wow.
So people
There's a lot of drama going around.
It's a radio.
It's crazy.
Yeah. In the commercial break, I was like, "What is going on here?"
Yeah.
Like
You don't want to know anything
Real
that me and Simone were
Housewives
just
of
talking
Atlanta.
about.
Simone was up in here.
You don't
Yeah.
want any part of that.
Smoke
Trust me.
was
I
coming
don't
out
want
the
any
ears.
part of it. And yeah.
Anyways, so we'll check in with the boys at 1:45. But right now, let's put a bow, shall we, on Media Day. And let's start with, I talked about this, I believe, with you. I mean, how long have we been doing shows? Feels like it's been a long time.
It was like all 2 weeks ago and then halfway through last week.
Okay, but I have said frequently that I find the Niners to be like the beer spokesman, the most interesting team in the league, right? I find this Heat team to be the most interesting team in the NBA. And specifically, all the drama with Dame, everybody said that they were going to go there,
Yeah.
But Tyler Hero, and we talked about it, people on social media these days, if you check their account and they scrub the thing from their profile or whatever, like you said,
Oh
take
my
the
God.
pictures
It's like
out.
you're breaking up with a girl
Exactly.
and then all of a sudden the entire
It's
feed
so
is
petty.
no longer
So petty.
there.
Like, I don't get mad when you don't retweet my tweet. When
I did today.
I don't even know if you follow me.
I do.
Do you even follow me on Twitter?
It's because you follow me like sometime during the middle show of last week, and I was like, oh.
Anyways, the uncomfortableness of being obviously involved in a potential trade that doesn't go through, and then having to return to that team. Here's Tyler Hero. He's got some words for the team that didn't trade for him.
I mean, I'm not going to say too much. I know my value. I'm just excited to hoop. For the teams that didn't want me, that's on you. The teams that do want me, you'll see why you want me.
I know you're not out here circling dates on the calendar of the NBA schedule. It's 82 of them, but how excited are you for that matchup?
Yeah, it's cool. I'm ready to just play the best. Portland ain't the best, so I'm not really worried about Portland.
Ooh. That's pretty bold for an NBA player.
Yeah, it is. That's a direct shot right there. I mean, usually you don't hear something like that.
Whitey and Watkins did a great job interviewing on Media Day, but you didn't get a blurb like that.
I did not. No, I did not get any headline piece like that.
And I don't even know if I can give credit to the interviewer.
No, that's all Tyler.
Feels like he had that locked and loaded.
He was just like, hey, do you have that game scheduled or circled? What you would expect from that as someone asking that question? I'm like, he's probably just going to give it. Nah, you're right. 82 is 82.
Nope.
Hey, whatever they do is what they do. I'm just focused on what we got.
Portland ain't the best.
No, that's a dart right there.
And I mean, I guess I can kind of see it. I mean, to me, the reason why it's so fascinating and interesting is that he's going back to a team that wanted to trade him.
Yep.
And also, he hates the team that didn't want to trade him because the rumor was everything is not enough.
Yeah.
And when you're the centerpiece of not enough,
right,
that's got to hit
You're
the
like,
ego a little bit.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I know my value.
I
for
was
those
at 20 points a game. Okay.
But then at the same time, how do you go to your teammates and go, they didn't want me, but now I'm here and we got to play together? Right. I'm assuming he's going to.
It just feels unwanted by everybody. You're like, okay, the organization didn't want me. Yeah. The other guys didn't want me, and now I'm back here with people who don't want me.
Yeah.
But now I'm just here. Like now I'm just here. Like, am
Totally
I going
awkward.
to get moved? It's just got to be a weird.
Did you guys
situation
see
to be
that
in.
Tyler Hero retweeted that Jimmy Butler quote that was like they should investigate the Bucks for tampering, and he was like, "Yes, I agree. I second this." It's like, weren't you the one that was going to get traded if
I know.
the deal had
it's
come
like,
true?
It's like he's not involved. The way that he's reacting to it is just bizarre.
It's very, very strange.
But maybe he'll use it as a chip on his shoulder.
I'm
As
sure
the kids say, he got his bag, though.
He did.
So
And
it's
that's
not
what
like
matters.
he's just there temporarily or his contract is going to expire soon. Like, they're going to have to figure that out. And maybe he'll be amazing because I do think
pretty good last year.
He's a solid player.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's just
had
tough.
an injury.
It's really tough because
He's just not Dame.
And also, I mean, it's pretty unfortunate when you miss the playoffs and your team without you, as you're supposed to be a really important piece, ends up making the finals.
Yeah.
And they were pretty disappointing all season long with Tyler Hero, and then immediately losing him for the playoffs, they just rattle off the best basketball they played all year.
For sure. And let's stay in South Beach, Kyle, as I skip a couple of sounds here. Let's go to Jimmy Butler, range of emotions, as he was emo Jimmy on Media Monday.
If you could name those emotions just that you have gone through within the past week, what are those emotions? So much has happened.
I was excited and then angry and then sad and then excited again and then pissed off and then sad again. And now I'm excited. You just can't tell because I'm not smiling, but I'm very happy.
Wow.
You can hear the emo in his voice.
Yeah,
He's really been working on that.
They have the stages of grief, right? It's like denial, acceptance, anger, whatever. You know what I mean? I feel like he went through all of them, but much of them were the same, which is angry, which again brings me back to Hero. I hate to make this all about Hero, but I got to bring it back to Hero. If your best player and your teammate is saying that he was disgusted and upset that I was not traded, I'm going to have a hard time doing a show with you if we're going to bring it to our example.
I'm really upset.
Play a game with you. I'm not going to lay it all on the line, as they say, for a guy that obviously wanted me gone.
Right. Or definitely wanted somebody else here. I mean,
I guess they're going to make it work.
They're going to try to. And if anything is, this is, you know what this is? Talking about cliches all day.
What's that?
It's a real test of Heat culture.
Oh,
that's
Heat, hashtag
is.
Heat
we
culture.
always hear about that hashtag Heat culture. I think they
Yeah.
have a jersey now that's going to say Heat culture.
Oh, do they really?
I believe so.
Was that real? I thought that was like
I don't know
a-
if it was real.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jerseys being thrown out. There's even a
I
Kings
wouldn't be
jersey that got
surprised.
thrown out there. I'm not sure if it's real or not.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't be
It's a big
surprised.
test. Big test of Heat culture this year. We'll
Yeah.
see how that goes.
But I think ultimately, no matter what the circumstances are around you, similar to like when we were having the conversation before Dame was actually traded, whether or not if he was retained by the Blazers or he went to a team that was not the Heat, we knew Dame was still going to show up and hoop.
Yeah.
Hero's going to show up and hoop. Like he's not going to.
He also doesn't have the power to do, like he's not a big enough name to be like James Harden and say like, I'm going to sit out. Like you guys better not treat me.
He's got the contract though.
He does. Yeah. And I mean, you don't want to miss out on that money, but it's, I just feel like Miami, if he were to say like, no, I actually don't want to play for y'all, you guys disrespect me. I feel like they would say, look, again, kind of like what I just pointed out. Like, we did pretty well without you last year. So I think we'll take our chances this year.
Yeah, man. Part of the reason why I have the Heat as the most interesting team in the NBA is because of my love for Butler.
Yeah.
I have an incredible love for people that go way above expectations.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Jimmy Butler's not athletic or a guy that should be great, but to me, he does way better than what you would dial up in terms of like maximizing your potential. I have him at the top of the list. So I loved, the fact that they were 8th seed, knocked off the Bucks and Giannis and had that whole drama go down in the offseason, got to the finals, went to the finals in the bubble and lost to the Lakers, but he's bringing them to levels that I don't think that they would ever get with a player that was even similar or even better than he is. That's why I love him so much. But yeah, this is going to be awkward. And I mean, maybe here we'll ball out. Maybe this will all be one good, fun, loving story at the end.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I think the finals run last year kind of distracted people from the fact that, Miami,
not a very good team.
Miami was an 8th seed last year, and Chicago had them on the ropes in the play-in, and they almost didn't even make it out the play-in.
Yeah, and also, did you notice? Not sure if you noticed, Kyle Lowry, very high-paid player for the Miami Heat, did not speak to anybody.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
he didn't pull the Harden and not go,
Yeah.
but he didn't talk to anybody.
Well, and I mean, he's also a cog in this Dame trade because obviously Damian Lillard's coming in to replace his job. And so that kind of tells Kyle Lowry where his standing is with that
coming off the
organization
bench,
as well.
which I believe he did towards the end of the season.
Yeah, Gabe Vincent was definitely inserted into that lineup.
But, okay, let me ask you this. How would you have dealt with that if a Sacramento Kings guy was at media, was taking the pictures, but said, I'm not talking to you, Whitey and Watkins. I'm refusing an interview.
I mean,
that would register on the radar.
It would
right?
definitely be very telling. Yeah, it would tell me that something's, there's definitely a level of unhappiness there.
But
something's going on.
His name wasn't in the trade conversations.
No, but I think it's just the fact that they know
he'd be a replacement.
Yeah, exactly. His time there is very numbered.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the Heat season plays out because I mean, I don't put anything by Butler just because there's been so many times where I'm like, no way. And then he does it and does it and does it, especially that Bucks series and then the Celtics series. I mean, talk about overachieving. He is like numero uno on my list for that. But I mean, this was one of the more awkward off seasons that I can come up with in my memory of the NBA. I can't think of another time. I mean, the Jordan Poole thing was pretty uncomfortable because Draymond Green punched him in the face and they traded him for Chris Paul. And we didn't even get into that, him coming off the bench. We can get to that later. But should be a fun season.
The best part is the Kings are a part of none of that drama.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe it. I can't believe that the Kings are actually in a
Status
solidified, sturdy.
Gotta love it.
undramatic offseason.
Gotta love it.
Media day was about as quiet as it could be.
Gotta love it.
Very, very, very happy about
As a
it.
lifelong Sac guy,
Yes.
I can hear it in your voice.
thrilled.
No boogie drama, no nothing.
Like there's no drama heading into heading into training camp.
See, no drama is a good thing.
It's the best thing.
It doesn't sell.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
But
No,
it's
the
good.
Kings have definitely been more interesting in the past. But
Yeah.
I would not say
In a good way.
Well, it's good now that
Yeah.
they're not interesting.
Yeah.
They're good boys. They sure do.
Coming up next, we will check in with the fellas, Whitey and Draper, as we wrap up the show. Chris Watkins, Zachariah, right here, Sactown Sports, 1140.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling is proud to announce their partnership with Susan G. Komen to raise money and awareness for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For the entire month of October, Good Guys is committed to donating $10 of every $69 seasonal tune-up performed and $250 for every heating and air system replaced to Susan G. Komen. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now to schedule your tune-up and help save lives. 530-GOOD-AIR or online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money to pay the taxes.
Those years cost him dearly.
Most of it was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
They settled my account with IRS. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Another tough one for the Silver and Black is they are tired of seeing Khalil Mack, who tormented them with 6 sacks of rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who was filling in for the injured Jimmy G. O'Connell battled the team back, but a late pick stopped the comeback, and now the Silver and Black are just 1-3. Up next, they return home for a Monday night game against the Packers. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Yes, indeed. 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is what you will be taken up to after the top of the hour, 2 o'clock, with the Rise Guys, the one and only Draper, the one and only Whitey.
Penalty,
Hello,
that's
gentlemen.
incorrect. That's 5 yards.
What did I do?
We're only on to 4:30.
Oh, yeah, 4:30.
Also, 5 yards, though. Only give me a 5 or 10.
Also, the
10?
Yeah,
Not
also
15.
yeah,
Not a
drive
15.
guys, like Watkins said, drive guys, not rise
That's
guys.
an addition. That's a 15-yard.
Oh, now that's
Okay,
15
that I'll
yards.
take a
Okay.
15
Yeah,
on.
that's
That's drive
messed up.
guys. I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? Hello, gentlemen. How are we?
Good.
Great.
Do you know who the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers is, Whitey? Because Mr. Ford apparently did not.
Yeah, I believe I do.
Okay.
This is Jimmy G still, right?
Yeah.
All right. That Trey Lance guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but we've been harping on this Ringer article. They have him at 25th.
Yeah.
Now, if I was just to casually ask you in the NFL where you would have Brock Purdy, I'm guessing you'd have him higher than 25th.
Yeah, I would say at worst, and this is not even going through it or not even looking, but just based on the eye test, what I've seen, from his 13 regular season games or whatever it is, 15 maybe.
Okay.
something like,
That's pretty much
16, middle of the league.
Yeah.
But 25. First of all, they have him behind Tom Brady, who's retired.
Significantly.
And they have him behind Kyler Murray,
right?
Who has a torn ACL last time I checked.
Yeah.
And is currently playing Madden or whatever.
What happened there? You took the bait. That was thrown out there just to get people.
Do you
agitated,
really?
and you took it.
Are you one of those guys? Okay, so there's a very famous sports broadcaster who does what we do, who makes
Carmichael Dave.
Exactly.
He said famous.
Oh,
man. I'm trying to dodge these arrows.
Come on.
But there's a guy who makes egregious mistakes. I'm not going to say who. I'll tell you in the commercial break.
I would say Carmichael. Anyway, sorry.
But they say that he does those purposely so that his name is all in the headlines. Now, I don't believe that.
Well, I'm not saying the guy made a mistake. I'm just saying he took a really extreme position in order to get people agitated, right? Clickbait.
So
That's
you
all I'm
think a
saying.
lot of people do stuff that they don't believe for entertainment?
What? Are you saying people in media say things that they don't believe just for clicks?
I honestly,
come on.
I
personally would never.
I never on the airwaves say anything that I don't honestly believe. Even as I honestly admitted to Whitey, I can't even name the guy now, the guy that played valuable minutes for the Warriors and won the title.
I'll tell you who you talking about.
He does not know who Nemanja Bjelica is.
You don't know who Bjelica is?
Still don't.
He has no idea who that is.
Hey,
I heard this the other
Kyle,
day.
shut his mic off back there, please. Yeah,
I watched every finals game. I have no idea who he is.
And I thought he would
None.
say after a while, "Oh yeah, yeah," but here we are 3 days later. It's like,
but this is my proof that I don't lie on air, Draper. I don't
Maybe you
lie.
should start.
Right, exactly.
It's much to my detriment. I'm not doing this to praise myself. Anyways, the guy that I'm talking about, he mentioned a quarterback who is no longer even living anymore as a guy that you cannot win a Super Bowl with. And a lot of people's theory is he did that because he would be in the headlines. Now, I don't think you would purposely act like you didn't know that somebody was dead just to be in the headlines.
Are we talking Cowherd?
I'm sorry.
Yes, we are. You said
I'm not supposed to say that. I'm not supposed to say that.
You
My
said
bad,
it, not
my
me.
bad.
But yeah, he said Dwayne Haskins is a guy that you can't win the Super Bowl with. And he's not, you think he purposely did that just to be in the headlines?
No, I think he just didn't know what he was talking about.
Exactly.
Like he just
A mistake.
Forgot.
Yeah.
But with this Ringer article, I think when you do these kind of rankings, you can't have it all status quo and everybody. You have to do one or two things that are going to grab headlines, outliers.
Okay.
And Brock Purdy,
I
don't know how you can have him 25.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, in the list, he's behind guys like Ryan Tannehill and Derek Carr, and just like it just doesn't make. I mean, the list doesn't make sense.
What was his reasoning though? What was his? I didn't read
that's
it.
another thing,
That's the thing. The
ahead.
insults are not even insults. It's like he takes too many chances, or he does a great job doing everything that Kyle executes in the game plan or whatever, but he's been rewarded for or hasn't been punished for the mistakes that he's made, but defense isn't, as I said, yet. They said yet. So I don't know. I mean, even the knocks on him. Some of the creativity comes at a cost. Purdy routinely drops his eyes and misses receivers running open downfield. That's fairly common for shorter quarterbacks.
May I ask
I'm
you a
not
question?
seeing that.
I don't either. That's what I think.
Hold on, Whitey. Sorry to cut. When did this come out?
Today.
Literally today.
When was
like
Brock Purdy last week?
21
or something
One
like that.
one incompletion.
Like this guy's not watching the game.
That's exactly what I said.
That's what it is.
That is
right
exactly
there.
what I said.
We touched on this a little bit yesterday. I think it came out. Yeah, isn't this the one that you had
Yeah,
yesterday?
yeah, yesterday
so,
it came out.
Yeah, it was. We didn't spend that much time on it because we had the same reaction you did, which was
Huh?
garbage.
Yeah.
Who does Brock Purdy remind you of?
Oh, well, are you trolling me?
No,
Because
I'm
you
not.
trolled me a ton on Tuesday. I thought he was going to be nice and like take me under his wing and be kind. He totally abused me on Tuesday.
He's setting you up right now.
Well,
That's what's
no,
happening.
because I've brought this question up before. And I would say what I did was in terms of 49er quarterbacks, who does he remind you the most of? And I would say Joe Montana, which sounds crazy. And again, not clickbaiting here. I'm just talking about in terms of Montana was, Cool Joe Cool. he never wowed you with, like, even Steve Young, that crazy run against the Vikings, and like, and well, Colin Kaepernick. Like, there's a lot of different guys that you can go to, but just in terms of presence and the ability to work with what he's got. Again, he had Jerry Rice, you can't knock him for that. He had Roger Craig, you can't knock him for that. He had Bill Walsh, you can't knock him.
Because I've heard Drew Brees. I've heard a couple of weeks ago somebody was saying Troy Aikman.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't see that. I think that's too high.
That at all. Very aggressive.
No.
Yeah. Drew Brees, you mean the guy who threw for more yards than anybody else?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know about that one.
I think Matt Barrows has brought that up, and Matt Barrows knows what he's doing. But I'm with you.
He does.
I don't see that at all.
No, I don't. I just don't see it.
The Montana thing, I got to admit, I kind of see.
Interesting. That's very
No,
interesting.
but that's because we don't have better options. It's just like, and I was thinking about this, all this morning. Like, is he a Troy Aikman type? No, I think he's a little more mobile than Troy Aikman. I would say Drew Brees, probably just because his Brees didn't run the ball a whole lot, but he had the ability to run.
Sure.
And I think Brock Purdy has that. Brock Purdy, I don't know who maybe a young Tom Brady. His ability to get the ball out quickly.
Yeah.
That's what Tom Brady was able to do. I don't know if I could pinpoint just one guy, however.
Because it's so unusual that a young guy comes in and from the jump, he's like, wow, this guy's really good.
Ready to
That's
go.
really unusual for a quarterback.
It's really, really. I mean, the comparison I threw out when me and Zach did that segment where he said Joe Montana, I said it doesn't look great, I think, looking back on it, but I feel like it's a mix of whatever. Let me just say it.
Just say it, bro. Just say it.
I said Alex Smith and Jimmy Garoppolo put together,
I
but
can see that.
that feels a little bit too with how. I mean, maybe this is also recency bias with how well Brock has played recently, but that feels a little too game managery, and I think Brock is, especially in these last 2 weeks, he's just shown a lot more. And I feel like I forget. Kyle mentioned it when he was talking about Brock, but he's only played 13, 15 games, something like that. And like, he's still so young in his career that I feel bad for trying to label him as this guy who just can't really elevate an offense. Yeah, it's still so early in his career. And I feel like we forget that.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And of course, you have to grade these guys based on what's around them, which I think, as Chris was saying earlier, that is kind of the knock on him, is all the great stuff that's around him. But the way that I looked at it, I said we still have meat on the bone, so we'll probably talk about it tomorrow. But when you go up and down the list, who of those actual quarterbacks, just as a quarterback, where if you took him and put him where Brock Purdy was, would you rather have? Because that's where I go. I have him above Tannehill. I have him above Derek Carr.
And you're talking right now.
Yeah, right now. But I'm talking about just the ability to play quarterback. The guys that are above him on the list, Daniel Jones, Ryan Tannehill, to me, that's actual ability to play quarterback. I would have Brock Purdy above those guys.
Yeah. Well, and also the fact that Brock doesn't make any mistakes, I think, is the biggest thing in contrast to all those guys. And maybe you could argue it's because those guys don't have the talent that Brock has, and so they're trying to make plays where Brock doesn't have to actively make the plays because the guys are.
But he doesn't have the head.
Enough.
He doesn't have the head slapping moments like Jimmy G. That's why when you said Jimmy G, I would push back a little bit on that, just because he doesn't have those moments where you're like, "What the are you doing?"
This is a huge game for him, though, and if I may respectfully disagree with something I heard you say earlier, because I listen all the time. You were talking about how, hey, if the 49ers don't win this game, it's no big deal. And I understand that. But I think if the 49ers' first loss is at home to the Cowboys, that's a pretty big stinking deal. And then they bounce back and maybe they put that behind them. But I think that'd be a big loss. That one would hurt a little bit, at least in the short term.
The way that I phrased it is just that I'm not going to feel any differently about the Niners if they lose this game. I'm going to feel a lot differently one way or the other about the Cowboys. I'm not going to change my mind on the Niners. And maybe you're right in terms of it being important for Brock, but in terms of the actual team, I'm not worried about the Niners. I mean, maybe I'm being overly confident. I'm not even like a homer. So I don't know exactly where this is coming from, but just in terms of watching them play, there's levels to this, and I think that the Niners are like a very clear-cut level above
Who's your
the Cowboys.
Team? You got a Viking fan over there, Eagle fan. Who's your team?
I don't say who my favorite teams are on air,
that's
but
weak.
I know a guy who really likes the Dolphins. And may or may not have loved the colors as a kid watching football with his dad and loved Dan Marino. It's not me, but I know a guy that loves the Dolphins.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
And that same guy likes the Suns, right?
Yeah, that guy, same dude,
I've heard that guy.
Yeah, his name is Jack. He's from Workley.
Workley.
I'm just changing Berkeley and Zach. Anyways, coming up next, stay tuned. What is the Truncated Show? You guys are stealing money today.
Hardly.
No.
Come on.
Too
man.
much
It's
information.
a truncated show.
We have to work twice as hard to fit it all in.
Exactly.
In a
So
short amount of
It's
time.
quality over quantity.
Oh.
Well, you know what other people do in 4 hours, we can do it in 2.5. Yeah.
Stay tuned. It is the Drive Guys,
There you
Draper
go.
and Whitey, coming up 2 whatever it is, leading you up to
4:30?
Thursday Night Football.
4:30.
4:30-ish. We'll be back tomorrow. Watkins, Zachariah, Sactown Sports.
JaVale McGee. Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect.